It's time to take a stand and repair our history. Thomas Sowell has shown us the way. It's time to start winning reality. We've been divided for far too long. It's time to come together and be strong. We can learn from our mistakes and make a brighter future for everyone. We have the power to make a change. All it takes is courage and faith. So let's stand up for what's right and make history together.
Hello and welcome to Repairing History Together with Gary Lamb and me, Winning Reality. How you doing, Gary? I can't hear you. You're muted.
I am. What's up, Winning? How you doing, Money?
I'm
How's
doing
everybody
great,
in
man.
the chat? How's everybody doing?
Oh, thank you, Suzanne. $10 right off the bat. Thank you so much.
What's up?
That's awesome. Thank you. Love to start the show that way. Hey, Talking Trash the Truth. How you doing?
Perfect way to start the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We got a great show tonight. And hey, we got a special guest with us this evening. So let's bring her on in. Ladies and gentlemen, here she comes.
Her exercise tips on infomercials.
Wait! Exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. Happy people just don't shoot their husbands.
You're fired.
What?
I have new representation.
All right.
That was an excellent intro. Made me want to watch the movie.
Right. Oh my gosh, I loved that. That was my favorite thing. I am so happy right now. That was amazing, Winning. Holy cow.
That's why, man, I tell you what, that's my favorite part right there. It's like seeing everybody excited about that and loving it. Hey, Rabbit, how you doing? Texas Jen, how you doing? Thank you guys so much for being here. Man, I'm glad you like it, man. That really does. It really is. It's my own. I don't know. It just makes me really happy seeing that my guests have you when they see their intros. It really does.
Yeah. When that was so cool.
I'm working on yours, Gary. Yours has to be amazing.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't try to make me all special and stuff. I don't like that. Then next thing you know, it's like, no, don't do that. Make me look special.
Well, no, I mean, but I got the drift of what you wanted, and I'm kind of trying to put that together. So I want to make it work. I want to make it right. We'll have to see.
Oh, okay. Well, I did tell you what I wanted.
Yeah. Usually co-hosts don't get one, but I'll make one for you. And don't you worry about that.
That's what's up. Everybody hit that like button. Go ahead and smack that like button. Everybody.
Yeah. And welcome everybody over wherever you're watching. Thank you for being here. All right. Hey, Mr. Malloy, how you doing?
Yeah,
how you doing? Welcome, sir. So happy you're here tonight. Yeah, dude. Awesome. Thank you for being here, sir. Mr. Malloy has a great show. I like to watch his content a lot. How you doing, Lady Lee? How you doing? All right, man. Yeah.
That's my wife, Latoya, right there.
Oh, okay. How you doing, Latoya?
Hello.
Latoya. She does not like being called by Toya. Yeah, Latoya. She can't stand being called Toya by other people. That's my fault. Okay. I'm the only one that's allowed to call Latoya. Okay, that's the Pookie cute. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's get to it. Talk.
Absolutely. Well, we're gonna start with just kind of like okay, so everybody here knows Gary, and everybody here knows Katelyn for the most part. Now across audiences, Katelyn, just for Gary's audience, because they haven't met you yet, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
I'm Katelyn Comments. I'm started a YouTube channel not too long ago. Wanted to, talk about things and stuff. I really don't want to narrow it down too much because I like commenting on things. I enjoy coming on with Winning Reality. I've been over to Mr. Malloy's channel. You know, I like to be a part of things and talk about things with great people. So I came to YouTube and said, hey, what's up?
Awesome. Yes, we have had some great shows together.
I feel like her. Like, I don't want to be pigeon-toed in one topic. Like, I want to be able to, I'm almost like, I feel more like to be like a Joe Rogan-ish, because I might want to talk about one thing. I may not want to talk about it. I really, because I love to conversate. I love to have conversations. And I think I do want to break the ice with you, though. Ask you a couple of questions, get to know you a little bit more. Okay. So you already said why you came to YouTube. What was your background prior to YouTube?
As far as like work and stuff, I have been in, you know, customer service my whole life. I just recently started a new position as a legal assistant, which is, you know, a really big blessing for me. Ooh. It's definitely the path I want to take. Yeah, I'm about to finish my bachelor's degree in criminal justice with a minor in legal studies, where I really do want to kind of turn my focus more towards the legal studies side of things after graduation. So getting this job is a really good starting point, and I'm excited to see where it takes me.
Legal, huh? Are you going to become a paralegal? Is that what you're trying to come through?
Basically, yeah. I don't know if so. I'm down in Alabama, and that means that most places require you to have that paralegal certificate. And I don't know if I want to go that far and take that class and, you know, spend the money. I am leaning towards it for sure, just because it would be another thing that, you know, can't get in my way of people telling me no. But I definitely don't go to law school. I don't want to take it that far. I don't want to spend like $150 grand on more schools. So we're gonna
agree on that.
The bachelor's.
I mean, especially when all you have to do is just grab the book and read the dang book. I mean, you don't necessarily, if you're not going into the practice, you don't necessarily have to be, you know, a lawyer or whatever, but you can, you know, you can do your own stuff. You know, I thought about doing that as well, because I love to argue. I love to argue, so I figured, you know, it'd be great for me to do that. But then the amount of work and the stress, I'm like, there's a lot easier things to do that you don't have to worry about that. You know what I mean? So no, I don't want to do that. But I do want to ask you, did you see the Alabama thing? Right? Remember what happened with the did you see that?
Winnie, I have seen some clips of it.
Yep.
Do we have that clip ready?
Yep.
Let's go ahead and put that clip out there.
Okay, this is the raw footage right here. So, little warning up front. Do we want to break this down piece by piece, or we want to let it roll and then talk about it?
We're going to let it roll, then we're going to talk about it.
Okay. They got lots of comments on this.
And he's still in moving boat. Still in moving boat. Clapping his hand. He's like, clapping his hand.
There goes the hat.
All right, pause.
Yep.
At this point, this was absolutely an assault.
Yep, 100%.
1000%. Now, do we know why this assault happened? Was it what was the position of this gentleman who was getting assaulted?
He's the co-captain of the ship. So
he's the co-captain of the ship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, he had to take
and
a boat.
Why
over
was he
there.
moving?
Yeah. Go ahead. No, go ahead. You asked why was he over there
at the boat?
Okay, so what was the deal was there was a boat waiting to dock, okay? And these guys right here, the white guys right here, that started the fight, they were blocking the boat with their boat. So the boat couldn't dock, and there's a bunch of people. There's like a ton of people waiting to to get off and continue their day, but they couldn't get off, right? So they're waiting for this guy to move his boat. They're being jerks about it. They're not moving the boat. They're being hard-headed about it or whatever, being egotistical about it. And so this guy right here, the co-captain had to get off the boat, get onto another boat, go to dock, and then ask them to please move. And I guess he went there to try to explain to them, hey, we have to get this boat in. We got people out there waiting to get in, and we're trying to dock and we cannot dock. Can you please just move your boat down? Right. So they, after using the broadcast, the loudspeaker they had, right, to try to communicate with them to the dock from the boat, they were flipping them off. They were being rude. So this gentleman got in a boat and went over there to try to rationalize with them and ask them to move their boat so they could dock. And that's what happened here. So these guys are obviously being very rude, and they're being very entitled, and they're not cooperating with the gentleman who's just trying to do his job.
There's a good chance they've been drinking on their boat all day, so that probably doesn't help.
That's an excellent observation too. I mean, these are not the sharpest. What is that thing? Sharpest
tools in the shed.
That one, they're not. They definitely not. I mean, look at them. They're not the sharpest tools in the shed. So we're not talking about like well-to-do individuals. They're continue.
We got $5. We got $5 super chat from Talking Trash and Truths. Insert clever verse here. Now laugh. Thank you.
We also have a gift from Talking as well from the Gary Lamb Network, and that gift goes to Turbo Turner. Thank you over there. Yeah, that's right, really cool. Oh my God. Yeah, keep it going.
Hey, how you doing, MSL Law? MLS Law. Joe, how you doing, man? Thank you for being here, man. Awesome to see you. Yeah, okay, here we go. So that we got the backstory here.
Holy cow, MLS Law here? That's what's up.
Yeah. You know him? Good, awesome. All right, so here we are. Let's watch the rest of this. All right, now the pile on happens. Bullshit.
Now, pause the video.
Yes.
Look at how aggressive this woman is.
The one in the pink?
Mm-hmm. No, the one in the blue.
Oh, okay. Is she hit? I couldn't tell if she was hitting him or trying to
help. She's trying to help. Susan with the $10 super chat. What is that? A sticker? Is that a sticker? What is that?
I just see $10. I can't tell from here.
Oh, but thank you anyway. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you, Susan.
No, but look at her. It looks like she's trying to help the guy up.
Right.
Continue.
He's trying to drag one of that guy off.
Right.
Yeah, he's
okay. That guy right there in the blue running on top, that's a cop.
That's a cop. Okay.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry, I'm putting the wrong screen. Cop over here.
Now it should be over right now, right? But he charges.
Right.
Falls.
It should be over.
Right. Mm-hmm. He charges, falls, gets back up, and charge again.
Yeah, this is redneck rage happening here, and you see this.
Yes.
You got a brother here swimming over from the boat to help.
Yes,
right at the bottom. Right. Yeah, but man, so far, everybody's just trying to break the fight up, and it ain't got crazy. It ain't got too crazy. It's already crazy enough, right? But it hadn't gone out of hand or nothing. Everybody's kind of just like, okay, it's between these guys, and we're just gonna try to get this de-escalated and get on with it, right?
Now, hold on. Susan is now a Duke over at the Gary Lamb Network. Shout out to Susan.
Yay.
Katelyn, you have a question as well. Shout out to Susan. Thank you for being a member of the Gary Lamb Network. Going places. So MLS Law Show asked Katelyn, have you been watching this video a lot, right? You've been watching this a lot. So what do you think is going on here? So yeah, we're gonna definitely get to that here in a second here. I think we're gonna play it through and then we're gonna answer the questions. So there we go.
Get up there, young buck! Get up there, young buck! Get up there, young buck!
So many opportunities to stop.
Right? Now he's already been hit, man. I get why he's pissed. I get why he's mad.
I agree. So what? The threat is over. You gotta go. You're aggressively approaching this person now.
I mean, it's a walk, so he's got the time to think during that walk too. I'm just thinking of like legally, you've got the time to separate the two instances.
There's a lot of effort on both sides going on to try to de-escalate this.
Every single person in this video is in the wrong. I mean, they all had opportunities to end everything.
First hit, right?
Right.
But this is a problem.
Oh man,
I don't
think so much.
Understand.
Thank you so much, MLS Law. Thank you so much for joining, man. I really appreciate that so much, man. I'm enjoying your content too, sir, by the way. So thank you very much. I'm honored to have you as a member of the winner circle, man. Welcome.
Yes. Yeah.
He's ready to go.
Action, baby. He ain't finna do nothing. Arrest that. Oh, Lord.
It's in the best footage here. You can't quite see what's going on down the dock. But he's running back now. Okay. He's the cop. I just go up to the cop. Now, if I understand it right, when the cop came down, he originally started giving the captain a hard time.
Who gave the captain a hard time?
The cop. The cop's the guy in the blue shirt right here. Here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if I remember the story right, originally he was stopping him. Maybe it's because he was in the rage. He's like, he got hit. I want some. Let's go.
Right.
So let's see what happens. Let's just try to calm him down. Go ahead, Katelyn.
I was just gonna say, and he was just over talking to the whole group of people that were on the other side of the dock before he's gotten to this gentleman. So he may have only gotten one side of the story at this point.
Right.
So we keep getting this cut. The hat throwing thing comes up because if you remember in the beginning, he's like, "It's go time." He threw the hat, like when the punch came in.
That was the most comical thing. He was like, "Oh, really?"
Yep. He's like, oh, "Let's go."
Was gorgeous.
Right? I know. I thought it was great. I loved it.
Animated as hell. Like, really? Oh, bro. It was like you could put a superhero soundtrack to that.
Right, and he didn't throw it down. He threw it nice and high.
Yeah,
he got the air under that.
Because normally people was saying that hat on the ground. Give up. No, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I like that movie actually.
This whole thing. Listen, let's be real. Everybody has watched this thing 1,000 times because it's so entertaining. It is so entertaining. Like I don't like what happened, but it's so comical how it did it. Yo, when it came out with the chairs, bro, I was done. I was like,
"Oh yeah, we ain't got the WWE yet."
Right? No, they was going in, bro.
Yeah, I just think it's like MLS Law. I think that when at that point they had already been working on this for like a good amount of time from the boat, trying just to get them to move their boat down. I mean, it's not hard to be polite. It really isn't. That's all you got to do. Big, oh, sorry, my bad. Let me I'll move it out of the way for you, man. Hey, is that better? You guys good? Cool. That's how you do it. That's how you have a civilized, peaceful society. You cooperate, right?
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
If I were driving the big boat, I just simply would have run over the little boat. I mean,
yeah, I would have been crowding them out.
I mean,
like, move, or I'll move you.
Listen, I'm not getting, no, that's insurance problems. No, I'm not doing that. No, listen, let me tell you something. I work too hard to get my premium as low as I got it. I'm not hitting nothing. Sorry. No, it ain't that important. We'll just have to wait. It's not that important. Where we going? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we docked. What we doing? You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, it's going to be what's going to be. We just going to have to push it. We're in a boat. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't get no, if you need to go somewhere, you take a plane, you don't take a boat. You feel? So there was time to just chill. You know, it's just, you're not supposed to park there. And then, you know, how the aggression comes out, because you could tell this person is an extremely aggressive character. So if I see you doing something you shouldn't be doing, as aggressive as he is, this was like, he could have waited for them to move their boat. He could have waited. That would went over to start touching the boat. Do he has the right to do that?
Well, yeah. There's also the idea that when he signs up, we'll hear about that in a second, but let's get through this and we can circle back these questions. It's a good point. And I also would make a point too about a bigger point that I think people are missing in this. I'll make that at the end though. Get some chairs going on.
Your boy gonna go get it. Hell yeah. Hey, your boy no, don't stop him now.
The other guy is still down there trying to get to him too. This is all high school going on right now. Look. Oh.
There it is. Whoa. Did he just get power bombed? No, he got rock bottom. That was a rock bottom. This is what bro.
Hold on. What started that right there? What started that right there? I didn't see that part. Let's see right here.
The rock bottom?
Yeah, the guy, the blue shirt right here. Right. He lands a solid right. I'm trying to see who was starting it up, because if you just want to kick someone's ass, you just roll in and you start kicking their ass, right? You ain't sitting there talking, trying to negotiate. So he seems like he's trying to help at first and just had it. He's like, "What'd you say?" You know, because I mean, they were. This is the boat they were in right here, right? And they were giving the middle finger and being very uncooperative to start with. And maybe the right thing to do right there was to call the cops in and be like, "Hey, we got some people."
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, the co-captain, that was a heroic thing to try to go over there and negotiate with these idiots who were just being totally uncivilized about how to handle the situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that would have been a great thing, but if it had worked out, but. You know, you got people heckling from the boat. There's a lot of things going on here. I'm not saying that anything that these guys in this boat did was right this day, but I'm trying to understand the situation completely, unbiasedly, and say, well, what was antagonizing the violence to erupt, right? Sometimes that crowd will get to you. Yeah, people yelling at you. Some people can't handle that. You know, some people can't handle the trolling that's going on for the boat.
I agree.
Or up top even.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It takes
these guys up here.
It took me a long time to get that.
Yeah. All right, let's watch this.
It took me a long time.
Boom. He's like, stand back. Okay, I've had enough. Boom. That guy's gonna be feeling that. Oh, rock bottom. Yeah.
But guy literally landed a rock bottom, dog. Like.
Oh, this guy
not at him. See how he hitting him, bro?
Yeah. See the blue guy, the guy with the blue shirt here, the light blue, this guy right here. He's the one that swam over from the boat.
Right.
So he swam over from the boat. All right, now right there, look. The cop has the co-captain on the ground, handcuffed him.
Yeah.
But he wasn't stopping. So that's why he got handcuffed.
Right.
Yeah.
You
got the full Nelson.
Yo, straight up. I'm telling you, man. Straight up.
Okay, he just dropped somebody else. Moves. Yeah.
We got wrestlers, we got boxes.
Yep. Meanwhile, the cops all focused on the captain, the co-captain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, meanwhile, there's brawls breaking out left and right. There's the chair.
There's the infamous chair. Yo, the Walmart memes are hilarious.
No. Who the nicest one? The young boy? No. No, he asked me. Yeah, but he should let Star just handle that dog.
All right, everything's chill right here. We can break this up now. This dude came down here to bounce, man. He came down here to bounce. Make sure he's like, man, I'm gonna put my size in the middle of this, and hopefully everybody steps back.
Man, he told us. I bet she won't grab it no more. He already swam across this water.
He already swam across. We're talking about this guy right here, right now on the boat.
He came out of all his clothes.
He got the car right there. He touched the rubber. But he untied they boat.
He's like, bring the boat on in. I feel like we missed something here. I feel like we missed a lot here.
Like a whole with so many cameras, you got to find the right camera one.
Okay, let me take this off then. I almost wanted to pull up the lead attorney because he did the whole thing right.
Right. Well, listen, it's not really. We're just speaking on it. We don't have to go into depth with it. There's, this is more of a icebreaker. Yeah. To be real, it's the icebreaker. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got another icebreaker, don't we? We had 2 icebreakers queued up, didn't we?
Yep, we sure did.
What was the other one?
The other one was we're talking about the custody stuff, or
the custody stuff. The fact that Tennessee went out with a bill. That bill,
that's right,
is going to put an end to all this paternity fraud. Absolutely end, because now, if you want to volunteer and sign the birth certificate, you must present proof that you are the daddy. Now, this is volunteering now. This is a volunteer type of thing. You're volunteering to sign the birth certificate after you've produced the DNA that this is your son or daughter. Well, now, we need to talk about this, because this right here is going to level the playing field hard. Because, oh my God, I don't think y'all understand how powerful this is, and the way they worded it was beautiful.
Hey, Gary, do you want to finish up the video though before we give too much away?
No, but go ahead, let's do it.
Okay. All right. So, No. So, what do we want to come to a conclusion about this video? Let me pull it back up here real quick. I can find better footage if you want to get to the WWE chair smash and stuff. You said we don't need to do that, but the one thing I want to point out here is this, and this is for everybody who thinks that the trick to everything is to get rid of all government and to work it out yourself, right? To be your own government, the anarchists that are out there. I have one subscriber that comes by, and we're going to do something together in the future. He's on another channel that I know of. His name's Corey, and he's big onto this anarcho-capitalist. I guess I don't even know if it's not fair to say it's anarcho-capitalist. He's into the anarchism, right? As a non-statism is, I think, a better way he may put it. I don't want to misquote him, but the idea is he believes that all the state needs to go completely, right? And this is the moment I want to point out for that mindset here, right? This is what this gentleman went over and tried to do this without any kind of state intervention, right? And you see what happened, right? What happened, right? Drunk redneck takes a punch at the dude trying to do his job because now, by the way, these guys, all 3 of these guys that were involved with this brawl, that were on that boat, they all have warrants out. They've all had warrants out for the rest for assault, right? So they already had records for just throwing punches already.
And that's why I questioned is it because of race that this happened, or if it was another white guy, would they have done the same thing? That was my
they would have done it to anybody. But
you know what?
Yeah.
You brought up an amazing point. I have another video that I want you to show. Okay. Go ahead and grab that since you brought that point up.
And this is like, when we talk about getting deeper on like race relations and understanding each other, it made me think about something too. I don't want to go off. I don't want to get too far off topic though, but it has to do with confrontations, like with fights, right? With fighting. And it has to do with the perception of what's going to happen in a fight when you fight one versus the other. And I think that we could have an interesting conversation about what your perspective is on that, and what the white perspective is on that, as far as, I did ask some different people and they had some different perspectives on it, but I know what my mindset has been since the 90s, since the 90s. All right. It didn't show up here. It didn't show up here at all. So that's a good thing. So that's awesome. Something I can learn. I'm going to be learning from you on this one, because the mindset, and like I said, I feel like I'm going to take us off track here, but just put me back on track when I do.
Did you just see how hard left off track I just went with the other topic? You stop it. Enjoy yourself. The beauty of lives is that you can be yourself, chill, relax, enjoy yourself, and we could cut all the goofy stuff out and make a video. So just be you. Don't have to be so, robotic about it. Get into it.
No worries, man. Thank you for that. And Gary has a great mindset when it comes to these things that I don't have yet. And that's one thing I'm learning from him as well, is that how to approach these lives, right? He has a different outlook on it. I've been a part of a lot of things where some people would give me a hard time for actually just going off topic or just speaking, well about a topic for a long period of time. So, we're working that out. But here's the thing. Since the days of like, I always put this back on Gangster Rap. Maybe I'm wrong for doing it, but since those days, I felt like the day of one-on-one, mano-a-mano, right, to settle our differences, turned into it's going to be everybody kicking your ass at one time. And it may just been my own experience. Yeah, it's like, okay, so if two people, it happens to be a black and a white, they have a disagreement, right? And they can't work it out. They start throwing blows. Somebody loses their temper, blah blah blah. Is it one of those things that everybody's going to jump in? How does it in the black community? How do you guys look at that? How do you approach that? I think I've been wanting to ask this question for 20 years, man. Like, how do you guys approach that? And is it like an unspoken thing? Is it like, okay, that's a white dude beating a black dude, so we're all gonna kick his ass now? Or is it more like circumstantial? Like, no, he was coming at all of us, or how does that frame up? Is it a little bit of both? Is it just the individual? Is it the group of individuals? Because I told you last time, like, I've been jumped by gangs, so over just the color of my skin, period. Just being out there, and that's what happened, and it didn't change my opinion about anything, but it did make me think, hey, if I ever get in a fight with a black dude, if he has friends with them, they're all going to jump me.
Difficult question. First, let me make sure I understand what you're saying. This just a typical, are you asking me, is it typical for blacks to jump people? Or is this more of a that?
No. If it's no, actually, it doesn't matter whether it's black and white or black on black or whatever, right? I'm just saying, is it a brotherhood thing? Is it a race thing, or is it just a cultural thing? Like, I don't know if it's become cultural because of I think gangster rap, because at that point, that's when I saw things change in my world, right? And I liked gangster rap, so don't get me wrong. But I just noticed that there was a lot more, tribing up on that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, then things to stop being one-on-one, and it's like, oh no, we're all gonna kick your ass. So you better do whatever we want, or you better run, or you better not come over in this area, or you better not do that. right? It's just this perception that's out there. I'm not saying it's real. I'm saying this perception that's out there that you mess with one, you mess with all. And I don't know that happens. Now this right here is the opposite. You know, these guys all started ganging up on this dude for no reason. Maybe they thought, I don't know. I'm not going to say what these guys thought. They're out of their mind. But, you know, for a long time I've had that. And then I saw this incident and I saw everybody being really restrained. But then I saw the drunk boaters, you know, and I'm guessing they're drunk, man, because they seem like the kind of guys that have been out there drinking on the boat all day long. I could be wrong about that too. But it made me think about that. It's like, you know, that I always believe that if two men have an issue, it's between them. Right. If they want to work it out with violence, they got to do it. We all got to back up. Nobody wants to see him be stupid, get hurt. And most of the time people just break it up, man. I mean, I've been in situations like that too. When I just get right in the middle and try to break it up. I don't care who's on whose side, whatever. Right. If you're just trying to do the right thing, I think I've noticed that people will respond to that. But I just don't know if there's been a mentality, maybe feeling outnumbered, maybe feeling, you know, some of the things that the music and the movies and everything has told us, the experiences, and maybe it's just where you're from. Maybe it's if you're in a gang, that's how you do it. But if you're not, you don't do it that way. But I think the perception that's out there could be skewed towards one thing or another without a lot of experience in that area. Right.
Right. Okay. So been jumped multiple times. Oh, me, I'm jaded in that environment. So long to answer that question.
Hey, Gary, when you back off your mic a little bit when you're rocking, when you get to the back part of that, you kind of fade out like you got a gate on it or something.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, I tend to be very biased when it comes to that. Because I've been jumped multiple times, right? So that's a hard question for me to answer. Right? I'm struggling to answer that question because it's not a question that I can easily answer. I've never really thought about it before. Right?
Isn't it wild?
One.
Yeah.
But when you ask me, I'm like, well, every time I got in a fight, I got jumped. The only time that I've ever was in a fight, well, 2 times that I was in a fight that I was not jumped was when I fought when I had my very first real fight with my best friend. Turned out to become my best friend. He says I whoop his ass. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. He claims he whooped my ass. Okay, but I remember it quite differently. And he's like, I remember it. It is what it is. So we go back and forth with this forever. And the only person that can ever satisfy this argument is my dad, because he was there watching us whoop each other's ass. But he passed away when I was 16. So he can't even. So we're gonna have to take this. I can't wait to get up to heaven and read and watch our lives over, because we can't wait. I can't wait to be like, all right, moment of truth. We both got to the same place at the same time, so we gotta watch it together. You understand me? And then whoever wins, we choose it up. You know what I'm saying? And then we go back there, we train and see. We're gonna have to square it. We're gonna have to finish this out, right? Now, listen, I'm a believer. I believe that I'm gonna be in heaven one day. And I'm going to be able to do whatever I want to do. So that's what I like to believe before I die. But that's my choice. And the other fight that was absolutely legit that I didn't get jumped by was with McQuell. He lived in the little projects around, down the way. And the only reason why that wasn't a jump is because my dad was there and all the other adults was there. And I was doing good until he hit me in my temple, and I felt what pain really felt like. And I checked out. My mother grabbed me, pulled me up the stairs, and I've never been able to lay that down. To this day, I wish I would have stayed outside in Fort McQuell this day. So but those are only real 2 times that I got in a fight that it didn't end in a jump. So for me, I'm like, kind of biased on this one. I'm going to say that they that's what they do. They see their boy getting the best, you getting the best of his boy, and they just start jumping you. I don't know. Maybe it's nature. Maybe I don't know, because This right here is similar, right? These people probably don't know each other from Adam, right? All they know is that here's a co-captain trying to do his job, and I'm sure he was being, calm down, guys. I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do. Go over there and see if I can talk to them, get them to move the boat. I'm going to take care of it, no problem. He goes out there and he starts to do what he has to do. People are getting nasty with him. They're watching these guys getting nasty with him. He's getting frustrated. He says, you know what? I'm going to move it myself. Okay? I'm just going to move it myself, which was the wrong move, clearly, because it caused a fight. You've been in the fight enough times winning to know that there are certain things that's just going to escalate it completely. We're already arguing over the idea of you moving your own boat. And you're telling me you're not going to move your own boat. That I'm going to possess myself to go touch your boat. Those are either big balls or huge arrogance. Either way, they don't come out well. Right?
Nah.
They don't. So now you're running into two, for whatever reason. I can't call it race. It could just be he's an asshole. It doesn't matter what color he is. Right? Yeah. And he's being an asshole touching my boat. Right? Color don't come into like third frame. It didn't just touch my boat. You know what I'm saying? That's when it comes in. And that's when it's like, I'm going to do what I got to do. And guys, he coming over there with an elbow trying to hit him. And it's like, wow, that's assault. Aggravated.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I didn't want to take us too far off that. Let's think about that one, man. And I think I could actually frame it better and do a better job of bringing it up in the future. So we'll put that on the shelf, man, for now.
So I did. Okay. Okay.
No, you did great. You did fine. I don't think I explained it well. So I want to put that one on this. Plus, I know we got bigger things to talk about tonight, and that's more on topic. Like I said, didn't want to take us off topic too much. But anyways, so again, when I was saying people who think that people are just gonna be able to go work their shit out and not have some, need some kind of law and order in the picture are wrong. Because what would have happened if there was no law and order right here? This dude would have been back on this boat, getting the gun out. They would have been firing from the damn boat.
How do you know that he had a weapon?
It's Alabama.
It's Alabama. Oh. Yeah. Alabama, like guy. Yeah. Probably had something on
Chances are he had liquor and a gun.
Yep. Yeah, we're stereotyping as hell. But then you got everybody on the boat firing down on everybody firing at each other.
Now let me say this real quick. Because I think I'm trying to get what you're trying to say. Was this okay? So when it comes down to this situation, the way I see it is that I'm not going to let anybody just beat on the brother, right?
Right.
That's why the man jumped in the water and swam to the deck. Yeah. He was like, I'm not going to let him take an L. It's not a fair fight.
He was outnumbered. He was outnumbered.
Right. So
this wasn't one-on-one.
Right. So he made it a fair fight by going over there, or at least increase the odds, right? So that was more of, it's not a fair fight. This is seeming a lot more like just, I don't know. I can't call it. It's really hard because you got to talk to him and ask the right question to get the right answer.
Yeah.
Because of fights like this break out all the time.
Right.
They all the time. You know how many times I've gotten an argument because somebody cut me off? I pull up to the red light because the guy thought he was going to be able to pass the red light, got caught in the red light, and I'm staring at him. He looking straight ahead. He acting like I'm not even there. And I'm just staring at him like, yo, dog, you almost caught, because I'm frustrated with that. Come on, it doesn't necessarily have to be about race.
Yeah, look at all these other people that aren't getting involved, right? There's a lot of people that aren't getting involved. And if these two guys wanted to go at it, the other guy shouldn't have gotten involved either. That was just, this comes across to me as some drunk action right there. It's people losing their mind, get the adrenaline all pumped up. They're already assholes to begin with. And they saw an opportunity to go flex, and they did it. And they got their asses kicked, and they needed to get their asses kicked big time. And now they're gonna get some charges on them too. So that's how that wrapped up. The big point I wanted to make about this is like, even after everything we've seen, right? The need for law and order exists, right? Otherwise, people are going to be killing themselves over boat docks. And that's why I always push back on the, get rid of all government kind of position. I believe in limited government, but I don't believe that we'll ever be able to exist, especially in this day and age, like the way that the condition we are in right now, without some law and order. Now, if me and Gary are successful, we get this, we can heal, we can repair history and heal division.
You mean when we are successful?
Yes, when we are, right? And then maybe we can go back and address that again and say, well, maybe we don't need that.
We're going to do that simultaneously. I got a foolproof plan how to make that work. That's going to happen simultaneously. I got to work on that word simultaneously.
Simultaneously.
I'm trying to sound more educated, guys. Let's go.
Crazy. This has been the story. Montgomery is our murder capital, but nobody talks about that. Yeah, there's a lot of topics going on.
Things happen daily in Montgomery and nobody's talking about it. But it's not because it's just not happening. It's because it's a type of crime that nobody wants to talk about. That doesn't make headlines. This does.
Right.
Yep. Well, just to wrap that part up, I think that the people I saw outside of the group in the boat that just did the gang attack, right? Everybody else came down there initially to try to de-escalate the situation. The big gentleman that walked down the ramp, he didn't come down there swinging. He wasn't hitting people with chairs yet. Someone had to push him to that moment. The dude that swam over was just coming to watch his buddy's back. That could be his best friend. Right. If that was my best friend, I'd be swimming over there too. Yeah, you guarantee it. And it's just the way it is. So the rabbit says it best. Fighting is stupid, in my opinion. But I live on a farm, so what do I know? But it is stupid.
Fighting is absolutely absurd. It's nothing. Yep. There's no joy. There's nothing to be gained out of it, man. It really isn't.
Yep. You win if you don't die. So okay, so we're gonna segue now. We're gonna move on from this. But Katelyn, any final thoughts on the Alabama brawl? We got it.
I love that this is just another thing that puts Alabama on the map. We're getting so close to becoming Florida man that it's starting to scare me. I think the whole situation's unfortunate. I wish that none of the people made the decisions that they made. I mean, it starts off with one bad decision. It snowballs into many more. And it is...
Word up. Yep.
It's absurd.
All righty. Well, Gary, you were telling us about a new law that's being passed in Tennessee.
Yes.
And you were talking about that has to do with paternity.
Yes. So just to recap, Tennessee is looking to pass a law on paternity fraud. And basically what they're doing is they're making it where that if the father wants to voluntarily sign the birth certificate, he has to present proof that this is his child. Okay. And the way that I see it, it's a game changer for the correction that men have been crying for so long. Right. And I would love to get Katelyn's opinion on this, because it leads into a lot of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. So the statistics show that 1 out of every 3 children you have a 33% chance that one of those children aren't yours in today's society. That number is scary at best. Our livelihoods go into our children to find out that one of them are not mine, that will That would devastate me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Not just emotionally, financially, it would devastate me because I raised someone else's child. And it wasn't my choice in the matter. I thought it was mine. And like I said, that is like the best possible outcome. The worst is to know this is not your child and be forced to pay child support for this child because the signature was forged or she lied on a birth certificate. Right? And you find out years later that you owe child support to this child. And you get locked up for it, you lose your job for it, you get your license taken away for it, all these things, and it's not even your child. You prove that this is not your child. There's many cases where that these men prove that it's not their child, and the court still said, "Well, you're still responsible." Now, this law comes out, or this bill passed, we get rid of that problem. What is your take on that?
I think I want it to be a really good thing. My pessimistic brain immediately sees like a double-edged sword, though. Do you think that it could cause less fathers to put their name on birth certificates, even when they might think that or do know that the kid is theirs? Maybe they can't afford to get the paternity test, or maybe they know, but they don't want to be involved.
Wait a minute, Katelyn, is going to be mandatory now. They're going to be mandatory. The paternity is going to be mandatory.
But only if the father wants to put his name on the birth certificate, right?
No. See, in order for her to get his name on a birth certificate, she has to present a paternity test. In other words, if there's no father on the birth certificate, she's responsible. She has to get the father to sign off.
Okay, so I must have understood it wrong, because the way I had heard it was that if the father wants to have his name on the birth certificate, if he voluntarily wants to do that, then he has to go and get the DNA test done to present that to say that he can be on there. I am fearful that how much the paternity test costs. Does that inhibit anybody from being able to go get that so that they can put their name on the birth certificate if they want to? I don't think that would be, a big issue, but immediately my pessimistic mind kind of goes to, well, what could happen? I think it is a good idea. I think that I would be willing to see how it rolls. And I do think it will put a stop to women doing things the wrong way. I just fear that men may not be as willing to be on the birth certificate.
Well, here's where I like the law, okay? Because she is mandatory to get the DNA test, right? If the father wants to be responsible for this child, he can willingly sign it. Doesn't have to. He can willingly sign it. When he signs it, if things go to court, whatever, what have you, you had to present the paternity test. So if something goes wrong and she wants to get child support, there's already a paternity test there.
Yeah.
So it will shut down all the lies. The way they worded it was pretty much the double-edged sword to women, right? Because you have, in order for you to get child support or whatever, and this is for unmarried pregnancies. Okay. So you have to now prove that this is his son with a paternity test. So when they go to the court and she says, "Hey, I want child support," the judge sees, okay, he didn't sign the birth certificate. We got to get a pregnancy test to make sure this is the father. Then he signs because this is the father, or you lied. This is not his child.
Yeah, I'll add too, like being in Georgia and being in a similar situation, that would have been key, because now in Georgia, if you could sign the birth certificate, you could be on the birth certificate, but if you're not married, you still have to go through and get acknowledged by the courts as the father. And you got to pay a bunch of money for that. But you still have to get legitimized to call it legitimized. And that costs a lot of money. So you have to go through all that stuff just to do it. That's why I think that's a good law, like for unmarried couples that are having children. If you're going to be the father on that birth certificate, get the DNA and all that stuff done then you don't have to worry about the cost later on. It's already established. That comes down to custody later on, maybe.
Everything's established there at birth. Right there at birth. Boom, boom, boom. We ordered the blood test. This is your child. Boom. The proof is already there.
Yeah, and then if there was some kind of mix up, let's call it a mix up, then that the father has or the man has a chance to walk away without being.
Yes, he now can walk away.
Tied down. Mm-hmm.
My child, I'm not responsible.
I get that. I think I want to read it because, I trust that you're giving me correct information. I understand things better by reading them firsthand. So I do want to know more about it. I think it's an interesting law that Tennessee has created. And I do like Tennessee. So a lot of the things they do, I agree with. But I am interested in seeing the outcome and how things do actually change in the system. And, how long will it take for effect to come and, some of the more fraudulent issues to kind of be weeded out of the system.
Okay, so I'm a little nervous. I'm gonna be 100% because we're going to be uncovering some very dark. Well, I wouldn't say dark, but delicate conversation for me. It's because as a man, I've experienced a lot of stuff in this, with trying to deal with women, and the fact that we need a law like this, it's heartbreaking. Because if you notice the title of the video, well, the one said on my channel, "Why I Fear White Women," that's not really the full story. I fear most women. Doesn't matter if you're white, black, Hispanic. I fear most women. Not like, oh my God, she's going to do something crazy to me. Fear. I fear your emotions. Fear you going dark. Because a woman can go dark, say the wrong things. And we've made jokes about this stuff over 100 years. Bill Burr has a joke out talking about how Lorena Bobbitt took care of her husband, right? Calling him stumping and everything, because that's the best way we can get through that pain, knowing that nobody's coming to our rescue on that. Nobody cares, or at least that's what it seems like, right? So when I tell you a story about what happened to me when I was younger and my first job, that some woman chose to threaten me with sexual harassment accusations, and I'm a teenager, simply because I brushed up against her. And to let the record show, I'm not sure if it was me or if it was the dresses, because I was passing her with a bunch of dresses. And who knows how, and I can rationalize it now because I'm 40 friggin' years old. I can rationalize how a teenager would think this through at that time, not understanding women, not getting all this feminism stuff. I don't know none of this. I'm just a kid. So I can understand what possibly could have happened then. That doesn't change the fact that I'm like Hands off. Hands off. A lot of men feel that way today. A lot of men feel hands off. Because Amber Heard, did I say any more?
Yep. There you go.
I didn't even watch that trial. I was talking to Winnie earlier today, and I was like, I couldn't watch that trial. I don't need any more reason to fear women. I don't need any more. I don't want to watch the trial. I might watch it eventually, but that's insane.
If it makes you feel any better, Amber Heard is probably about as crazy as it gets, except for like Taylor Shabusiness crazy. But there are different levels. There are absolutely different levels, and women can be crazy. All women can be crazy. But I also think humans can be crazy, and I have seen men go crazy, men on the docks, drunk rednecks, or, random people in the street. I was in Denver one year and got accosted. Me and my 4 friends were just sitting, chilling, eating French fries. And this dude just totally took a swing at us because we didn't want to talk to him. So I've seen crazy on both sides.
That is rejection overload, dude. That's what that was.
Yeah.
He got horrible. Tired of being rejected. Yeah.
Yeah. But I understand the fear of women. I don't have a lot of women friends. I have a really, really good girlfriend that I love dearly, and she will forever be my best friend. But I haven't been able to maintain long-lasting relationships with other women because I have seen they're crazy. So I understand where you're coming from. But
now, can I ask you this question?
Yeah.
Do you think that men crazy are the equivalent to women crazy?
No.
Why is that?
I do think that men are, and maybe this is too general. Maybe I am generalizing it, and maybe it's more situational and more personal to each individual. But I do think that men are a little bit more physical when they become crazy. They puff out their chest, they start swinging, they immediately go into defense attack mode. Women are a little bit more psychological, a little bit more cut you deep, not cut you physically. And again, generalizing, I know there are women and I know there are men that do the opposite things. But I think that there is a difference for most people.
Most people. Which one do you think is worse, the physical or the cutting deep?
I don't know if I would say either of them is worse. Is emotional abuse worse than physical abuse? One leaves permanent scars in your brain. One can leave permanent scars on your body. I mean, I don't know if I want to say one's worse than the other. I think they're both bad.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, MLS Law. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for being a member too. I would say
MLS. Sorry.
I don't know. It's hard to say. It is hard to say, but I can tell you that you can get over a broken nose a lot faster than you can a broken life. And the maliciousness of the narcissistic abuse cycle is pretty damn bad. I mean, if it goes on for a long time, it changes a person in so many different ways. It's so out of the blue. You understand a punch in the face a lot more than you do narcissistic abuse, especially if you hadn't been through it. Now, for everybody who's been through it, once you get it, you understand it, you can see what it is. But when you it's a lot easier for a man to understand a punch in the face than a stab in the back.
Or if you touch me again, I'm going to press charges.
Yeah.
So I've been jumped before, multiple times. Don't even think about them. But every time I see a beautiful woman like you, I get nervous. Psychological damage is way worse. way worse. It alters.
Can physical abuse lead to psychological damage and
It
be
can.
just as
Yes, it can.
And be just as
you have to,
debilitating?
right. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're talking to a situation where someone's taking advantage of you, and you ask the question, "Why are you doing this?" And the person says, "I can." You'll never get over that. Ever in your life, you'll never get over that. That person literally said, "There's nothing you could have done to stop me."
So, I mean, I'm just coming from a place where one of my good friends, I actually would love to talk to her, but we've gone our separate ways. Lives have happened. But she had a relationship where her man at one point pushed her down a flight of stairs and broke her whole leg. Is that physical abuse or emotional abuse? Because that messed her up in the head for years.
That's emotional abuse. We're not talking about somebody that's doing something just because. Literally what I just said, when the person said, "Because I can," that's exactly the situation you're talking about, right? He pushed her down the stairs. Now, my question is, what would have possessed him to do something like that? Right? What was the build to anger to do that? Was he just psychopathic crazy? Or did she charge him up to such a degree, like how long they've been together? Like all these things have to come into pass, come into account, because right off of face value, it looks horrible. It looks like he's a crazy person. He needs to go to jail, regardless of what she did. He needs to go to jail. But the lead up could have been a psychological breaking, right? Man comes in, he has been working his feet, his hands to the bone 3, 4, 5 years, and she is just a jerk to him. Just straight jerk, always nagging, arguing, throwing stuff at him, and one day he snaps. Could have been that, right? It's so much more.
That. It is my dog. I'm so sorry.
Okay. It's cool. It's cool.
Hey, Miss Lamb, we see your comment right there. I'm gonna make sure it's up on the screen because I think it was a great comment. He says, but the fear of a crazy woman and or pretending to be normal versus men's crazy, the results are different. Women today can ruin it or take a man's life and call it law. Men don't have that luxury. Absolutely.
No, we do not have that. And now that ties it into the physical part too, because women are physical as well. Very physical. Now, I
was probably generalizing.
Right, but I mean, it's no. I see where you was coming from, right? You was coming from a different perspective, right? And I was working with you on that one because I get it. I totally understand the dynamic. Like if you're in a relationship and he's physical with you and you're emotionally attacking him, I could see how that correlates. But I wanted to hold on to that topic and make it even. But yeah, women do the same thing. They're just as physical. You know, domestic violence is really, really close. Very, very close. When you look at the statistics, very close. So, but again, in your favor, psychological damage is very close too, because Winning was talking to me about earlier today about a couple of people who are taking advantage of women, right? And he's frustrated with those things, right? There's a guy on TikTok that's doing some crazy stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like they're using all kinds of tactics to take advantage of somebody, and it's easy to do when you got their attention. You know, being an influence is a very delicate thing. You can really control that energy into some bad stuff. It's very dangerous, right? You shouldn't be just willy-nilly using it. But yeah, that stuff can be very damaging, and I want to know how I want to find a way for us to figure out how to bridge that, stop all that noise, had a conversation about it, because being in this world, just as a man, right? As a man, it's challenging. Okay, I have to accept everybody's ugly. I have to accept it because I don't have a choice, right? I don't have the choice, the luxury to boast up and put you in your place like I should be able to, right? I should be able to correct you when you're wrong, right? But I don't have that authority anymore. I have the responsibility for your life though, because every person around here expects me to jump into action if something happens to you, or if you scream, every man has to turn and give you your undivided attention. Every man. That's like law for men. I'm still responsible for protecting you, right? At 18, I gotta tell the world that, hey, I'll fight for this country. You know, whether I want to or not, I gotta do that. And that's all for the way women have been treating men for the last 30 years, 40 years, probably even longer than that. Like, notice how the corporations and wherever you see if you watch TV, you see less and less men, you see more and more women. Right? You go to stores, you see more and more women. Corporations, you see more and more women. Is it possible that the men just don't want to work with women anymore?
Yes, because women don't like working with women either.
Talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Women are in general catty. They're not just catty to men, they're catty to each other. I mean, you work in an office with 3 other ladies, you all smile and pretend to be friends, but immediately somebody walks away, the other 2 are talking behind your back. I mean, women are, for the most part, out for themselves. Absolutely. I mean, there are a lot of, and especially when you're talking about like the women who are in the CEO position, the women who are on TV, the women who are in the spotlight, in those high power positions, they're not, I mean, my gosh, they're a different caliber.
I feel like it's
so
like,
go ahead,
I'm sorry.
No, I'm good.
Are you okay? I just I feel like it's like a lot of things in this world. It's exacerbated psychology, right? Like we've known the human condition and as a civilization for a very long time, and some people get the education and some people don't, but a lot of people have it, especially the ones higher up, right? So you got this, women are naturally programmed to be survivalists, right? They got to make sure that they survive, they get the food for the kids, they get the man for the kids or whatever they throughout time, right? And that might mean having to cut the throat of the woman next to you in order to make sure your kids are taken care of. And I think that's a built-in kind of psychology there, the same way as what Gary was talking about, how a man's supposed to jump in and defend the women, right? That's programmed into us, and the children too, by the way, right? That's programmed into us. And at a fury level, that's a takeover instinct, right? Well, I think maybe at another level, that's what it is with women. Like they have that ability to be ruthless because they need to be ruthless to make sure those babies are taken care of, right? And so now in the modern world, they take that psychology, right, and they throw it into a different aspects. It's no longer about the taking care of the kids or making sure you got enough food. Now it's making sure that you get whatever you want with that psychology, right? I may not have said that right, but what
No,
I'm trying to get
I
at
agree. I understand where you're coming from,
okay,
and I actually agree.
cool. Okay, I'll leave it at that.
Okay, so okay. Well, I agree with what you're saying when it comes down to that. I've never been this rattled before. Never been this rattled, and I'm trying to relax and just go into it, but I'm actually struggling here. And I told you, Winnie. Remember when I told you? I said, "Yo, this was going to be a difficult one for me."
Yeah,
because I look at it as, and it's crazy because I don't see you. I don't think you're a problem, right? I think you're going to be a chill chick. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you're going to be on some like, what did you say, Gary? I don't think you're going to be on some of that like that. But I've had those. So it's like, wait a minute. Like, this is like, man, it's not the first time that I've had a rodeo with, yeah, boy, you know what I'm saying? Go goose. What? What are you talking about, King? Goose. I don't know. Anyway, that was I don't even know what that is. Anyway. Wow.
So I guess why do you feel rattled?
At first I thought I knew it. I did. I thought I knew why I was rattled. But I'm not sure if I know any. There's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot of. Oh, I might need to actually get some help for this one. Some real help. Wow. This is crazy.
I want you to feel rattled. I want you to feel like
no,
you can have
it's
an
not
open conversation and discourse with me.
But here's the thing: I can know that I can have the open conversation. I'm not saying okay. We are going to work on the problem, Gary. We got you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
We do.
So, this is not like when I came up with the title. It wasn't to like bait you in. I'm really like, okay, I'll tell you a time. I'm not sure if I think you might have already heard this, but I'm gonna tell the chat. There was anger managed movie. Come on. That's what you're talking about? Dude, stop. Leave it up to King. But no, so there was an experience that I had with the Angry Viking crew. The crew was great, the leader was not. Let's move on. And it was this couple there, and he had a beautiful young wife, right? And she was the sweetest little thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's so sweet, so adorable, so cute. But I was terrified of her. And we was like really getting to know each other well, the couple. And before I left, she asked me to give her a hug. And it was the most awkwardest, weird, like hug I've ever had in my life. And I'm a hugger. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a hugger.
Did you do the one-armed thing?
Yeah. And I mean, my pelvic was probably in Michigan. I'm telling you, it was like I was way out there. It was damn near an L. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but I left, and before I left, we got in the car. I just kept saying in my head, I was like, "This is not right. This is not right. This is not right." I may never see this girl before. Never. Blah. I may never see this girl again. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And she did absolutely nothing to me for me to feel that way around her. Nothing. And don't get it twisted. I felt that way about every single woman there. I did not let my wife I did not leave my wife's side. Believe me. Okay. Didn't do it. But for her, it was different. So I encouraged myself to go back in there and give her a real hug. And I did. I was able to let go in that moment and just give another human being a hug. And I felt good. I'm getting that exact same feeling with you.
Well, I hope that means something good.
No, well, I don't know. What I'm saying is that the feeling like, oh my God, like, oh, she's adorable. Oh my God. And she's knowledgeable. She's smart. Hold up. She's smart too. She's not a dick. She's not one of those. I was like, okay. But I'm like, because you said, we all can get crazy. I'm like, yeah, that's including you.
Absolutely. I'm not going to front. I've been angry. I've had my moments. I mean, I'm married. My husband knows that there are days where I'm not my best self.
Oh, come on. Kayla, you told us last night you almost punched a woman the other day for.
I did. I almost punched a woman square in her face. I was so mad, but I didn't. I walked away from the situation. Yeah. The only thing I did was say a mean name.
Yeah, a nice mean name, right?
Well, she deserved it. She composed herself well for that. She was very rude.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the middle of the Denver airport, and that just was a whole nightmare in itself. But
yeah,
we all have our moments. I'm not gonna front like I don't have my crazy times, but there are, again, levels of crazy, and some people are way crazier than other people, and if you've got a good head on your shoulders, you can kind of, keep your head straight and figure out who's got the crazy meter too high,
Yeah.
I tell you what, a lot of times you won't get that chance. I mean, like the mask is on for a lot of crazies.
That's another one, right? Because for the most part, they're fine. I mean, it's that one snapping time that, it's like, oh, and then the fear comes up, right? Because at any moment she can snap.
You know what the difference is, right? The difference is the crazy ones don't own it. They don't own it.
The crazy ones don't own it.
No, they'll lie.
They'll never take personal. Yes, they'll never take personal responsibility.
Cool. She comes right out and tells you. She's honest about who she is.
If you go back to the Amber Heard trial, not one time did she ever say, I did something wrong. I was bad. Right. I did something bad. Johnny Depp got on the stand and was like, yeah, I made some bad decisions. I've done some terrible things. I apologize for all the things I've said. Like, I've said some messed up words. But Amber Heard was like, nope, I'm perfect. I've never done anything wrong. I've never gotten in trouble with anything. And every time she said it, it was another lie that we all got to see unfolded. So a lot of the times you are, even if they have that mask on, look for the ones who can't take personal responsibility for a single thing that they do.
Right.
Even the tiniest little mistake that they make, they won't be able to make up for that.
Yeah. Right. And hey, guys, hey, ladies, this goes for the guys too that are out there doing this, pulling the same Amber Heard game.
God, yes. Yes,
absolutely. They do the same damn thing, right? And they do the same damn thing. They don't own anything either. It's always the woman's fault, always them, right? And always somebody else did it. Always why me, pitiful me, right? That's when you know that that's the dude. That's the dude wearing a mask. The man owns his mistakes, owns his responsibilities, and it humbles himself. Knows he's not perfect, right? It's like I tell people, I take what I do seriously. I don't take myself seriously. It's like nothing sadder than a man takes himself seriously. Grown up of any kind takes himself seriously. Take what you do seriously. But they're not able to own up to their part in anything, take responsibility for anything, accountability for anything, and that's on both sides. Just to let y'all know, I know we're kind of focused on one side tonight, but I want you to know that we definitely acknowledge that there's both on each side. the same amount of crazy on each side going on. That also does the psychological stuff, not the straight up physical. Now, a lot of times the psychological stuff turns into physical, but we're just talking about the games people play, right? And that bring down society, that screw up families, that make unhealthy relationships the norm when they shouldn't be, things like that.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of experiences that I've had with women. It was not just with that woman, okay? Because that's what sealed it and, cemented it into law for me when it comes down to avoiding women in general, when it comes down to the workplace, when it comes down to outside, whatever. I just naturally avoid women at all cost. There was I think she was Muslim or something or other. She was working at Davis Bridal as well, but this was like a few years later. I was no longer the runner. I was now the receiver, and we was opening up a new store. So she came in to be a bridal consultant, and I was supposed to be working side by side with her because I'm a receiver, so we have to interact and stuff like that. So we begin to talk. I'm not very talky when I'm around women. I'm just not. So they started to talk to me because I was the only guy there, right? So naturally, a lot of women flock to the only guy for erroneous reasons, whatever it is. So she's having conversation with me. I'm thinking we're chilling. We opened up the boxes. We're taking out the dresses. We're steaming the dresses out. Mind you, we're opening up the store, right? So we're putting all the dresses up, everything, scanning things in and so on and so forth. And about a week later, out of the blue, she says to me, I'm not allowed to touch her, but she's allowed to touch me. I'm looking at her like she lost 3 heads. Like, what is that? Well, my religion, you're not supposed to touch me. And she explained to me that she got a job with Davis Bridal to avoid men. She didn't expect a man to be the receiver, right? And right then and there, I felt a huge problem being there. Because I don't know how to take that. I don't know how to take that. So she didn't stay there that long, thank God. She didn't. She actually left. I guess once her husband found that there was a man working there, she probably left, whatever, what have you.
Right. She should have put that in the application. Like, I can't work with men. That way, if they know right away, okay, well, you can't work here.
Right. You can't work in an environment that's equally opportunity, employer. Men might work there, So selling dresses is not like, well, you got to be, I get that, but you can still be an assistant manager. You don't necessarily have to. It's so many other jobs that a man can do there. But that was another
Randy
incident.
is like the best dress seller of all time.
Who?
Randy from Say Yes to the Dress.
Oh, I don't know who this person is. Is this was the person that you was at with Got Your Dress?
No, it's a TV show on TLC. It's called Say Yes to the Dress. And he, I think, is like the manager of Kleinfeld Bridal or whatever. And so he runs the show. But I was just making a joke. Okay, so I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail you.
No. It's cool. I just don't. I'm that's no problem. I got you. So it's an actual person on the show. But yeah, like that was an experience. I had another experience when I was at another job, and it was mostly women because I was in healthcare for a very long time, working with mentally and physically disabled people. And this particular environment was a day program. So it was a bunch of females running around, whatever, about 2 or 3 guys that work there as well. And we have ratio and all that other stuff. So one of the natural things that I've noticed women do is try to manipulate men to do their dirty work. it's inevitable. Every single place I went, they always tried to get you to do their dirty work. Well, I don't do your dirty work at work. I don't. So especially when I'm not even supposed to be in that sector, or that's not even in my job description. I mean, there's just certain things that I'm not willing to do. One of the nurses, or I think the psychological person, whomever, one of the doctors there, called me out of my room, and which was going to take us out of ratio, and asked me to take the bag. Can I help her with the bags? And I said, sure, take half out of one bag, put it into another bag. It will make it manageable and you could take it to the dumpster. Left and went back into my room because I was out of ratio. She didn't like that. The interaction with her was never the same. But I didn't care because I'm not even in your sector, right? You're a doctor. You don't deal, you know what I'm saying? So another person that I do work with, and I've always helped around and did what I had to do when it's in my job description and all other stuff. She was asking me if I can take the client out of his chair. And it was one of those very aggressive, like bolts everywhere, you know, because he kicks and stuff like that. So Thomas wanted to get taken out of his chair so he can lay down. But his van was going to be there in 5 minutes. It was time for us to all leave. She asked me to take him out of the chair. I said, it's going to take me 5 minutes just to get him out of the chair. It's not logical for me to take him out of the chair, to lay him down for 2 minutes to put him back in the chair. That is a lot. That's just unnecessary. Yeah, but he really wants to lay down, and we try to give the clients what they want. And I was like, well, he's not getting it this way. Well, he's not going to get what he wants unless you do it. If you want to do it, fine. But I'm not doing it. I'm getting ready for the van run, right? Because I have to get my clients on my van, and I got to take them where they're gotta go. And I got to get back here to do the paperwork. It's a lot. It's not just, whatever. She didn't like that, I'm sure. Fast forward, I'm being let go because I was on my cell phone. Everybody was on their cell phone. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I'm like, got it. No problem. So got let go of that position because I didn't give in to their demands. Even though I gave in to plenty of them. Plenty. I only gave you like 3 incidents when I told them no. 3. But now I'm being let go because I'm always on my cell phone. You got people that was going in that place coming in late. The assistant manager came in late on her phone all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many stories of this. A man saying something what is deemed inappropriate, which is just a goofy joke that boys say, right? But an inappropriate joke gets you in trouble. Meanwhile, the conversations that women have, oh my God.
Whatever do you mean about conversations that women have?
I don't know. You tell me like one of the billion of conversations that y'all have that's just like mind blowing. And here's the thing. I'll be in the lunch. This is why when I did work, I stopped eating in lunchrooms too. Because I'm sitting here eating in the lunchroom and they just loud saying the craziest stuff. And I'm sitting here trying to eat my food. And I'm like, pick up, go eat in the car. I remember, bruh, it's crazy. Now, I don't know why they do that. I don't know why. I don't know if they're trying to get, I don't know, tell her the truth. I think I am telling the truth. I don't know why they get that way. Can you shed some light on why is it that women feel they can say whatever they want around men, but we cannot?
So I'm going to tell you really honestly, like, it's hard for me to answer that because I personally don't believe that I can say whatever I want around men. But I also don't believe I can say whatever I want whenever I want. I mean, I'm a pretty cautious person in general, especially about things that I say. So it's hard for me to say for other people why they go off and say that. Have I had conversations with my girlfriends that are, you know, dirty, raunchy, you know, whatever we want to talk about? Absolutely. Do I do that in public? No. Those are like private conversations. I couldn't imagine sitting in a lunchroom with a bunch of girls and going off about whatever they wanted. But I mean, this is kind of where women are crazy come into it. This is one of their levels of crazy. I don't understand women who think that they can say anything they want to men. That doesn't make sense to me, but I feel like is a lack in.
No, I got something.
I don't
go
know.
ahead.
I was just answering. I don't know if I've witnessed it, but I'm not.
I'm sorry.
I don't. Like, I personally don't put myself out there in the world very often.
Okay. That makes sense.
So I am believe it or not, I'm actually pretty antisocial. I have found my community here on YouTube.
Me too. There you go. I'm very antisocial. You know what I'm saying? It's absolutely. And here's another thing. I
tell you what, before you jump on.
I keep forgetting that you're a married woman. So your whole perspective is way different, right? You're a married woman. These are single women that we're talking about. Okay. Married women are a completely different breed. Y'all still crazy. Y'all still crazy. I mean, y'all give us the whole guy, but now I feel a lot better because you're a married woman. That's a different story. I'm like, oh, that's right. Okay, now I can feel. I feel a little. It took me 2 hours, right? But I got there. You know what I'm saying? So I got there. But yeah, it's absolutely. You're right. That is actually what it is. You're not going to see it that way. But I am breaking it down to you and other married women who don't really get it, right? Because there's a lot of conversations that many men will not have with their wives because they don't see the point of having it, right? They just don't. Why would I bug her down with that? That's got nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my work life. I leave my work at home. I don't talk about that stuff, right? So a lot of men are conditioned to just keep their mouth closed around women. They're conditioned. So they don't see the type of problems that I might have seen because I'm a bulldog. I'm not the type of, like I said earlier, I don't like when people try to push me into a box. I don't like it. When you shove me into a box, I resist you at all costs. You know, I just don't do it. So you get around women that do that a lot. Like, this is why I don't work around women, right? I don't. I pick jobs where I can avoid them at all. I pick jobs to avoid them. Especially when it comes down to corporate. There's just no way, because I've had experiences that are just tacky, right? Tacky, because she want to save her job. Like, you throw me under the bus so you could save your job, but you're the one that signed off on it. And I got to go dig through the freaking the dump. Like, okay, real quick. I was working at a mortgage company, and what is her name? She was the supervisor. Supervisor made a mistake on the paperwork. Well, she didn't make a mistake. She signed off without checking the paperwork. It cost the company a lot of money. So I had to dig for almost an hour through the shredded paper box to prove my innocence, because I was in danger of losing my job. So because she said she didn't sign it. I'm like, I get everything I do, you have to sign off on it. That's one of the rules of the So I went and got it. Luckily, the people who shred the paper didn't come yet. I got the contract, showed it to my boss. There was her signature. Never trust her again. Like, it was gone. It was just time, just point after point after point and point.
So I have a question for you though. Do you think that is more cover your butt in general? Like, because I know plenty of people who would probably say whatever they could to keep their jobs. Do you think it was like, oh, because she was a woman that she
No,
threw you under the bus? Or
no, I don't think it had a lot to do with the fact that she's a woman. I think it has a lot to do with integrity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because most women that I've experienced do not have integrity. Like, the whole list of things that I told you is all zero integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, you know that you have to sign off on every paperwork. Right? And yes, you're right. She was trying to save her job. I get it. But here's the thing. You're the supervisor. A slap on the wrist.
And I'm not,
I
don't want that to come across as like I was excusing her behavior.
No, not at all. No, it doesn't.
I just wanted to know if you had thought that she was, because she was a woman, she was maybe a little bit more inclined to be like, well, he did it. It was his fault over here.
No, that wasn't, because I didn't approach her in that by this is the thing. Every single time that I start to speak with women or work with women, it was almost like a fresh chance, right? Mm-hmm. I have the way, and this is something that my wife absolutely hates. It's well, I wouldn't say hate. She don't hate, but she really do not like what I do. Is I give everybody an A. I'm one of those guys, like, you get an A, you get an A, you get an A, you get an A, everybody gets an A. It's your job to lose the A, but you get an A right off the bat. You got A credit with me. I take your word for your word. All right? Because I'm thinking you're going to hold your word, right? So when I go into these situations with these women, I'm in an environment where your word has to be accurate because we have rules. Right? This is not a situation where we're out in a club somewhere or I'm on a street trying to buy, diamonds from you. I'm in a corporate environment where we all had to go. We all had to apply, get whatever, and you're my supervisor. So I'm supposed to trust you as my supervisor, right? Mm-hmm. You then make a blunder like this. Like, we're not talking, it's possible that I made an error. I'm talking it's blatant. Oh, I didn't sign that. Mm-hmm. When it's in my job description to get you to sign off on everything. Before it goes to the next step, you have to sign off on it. Right. So I couldn't have pushed it through unless you signed off on it. But you're saying you didn't. So now it looks like I'm doing something wrong intentionally when you just didn't do your job. So now I can't really trust you at all, because now I got to wash my behind 3 times as much because you'll lie about something that you just overlooked. Because it could have been anything. She's got to sign off on hundreds of papers a day. She probably just overlooked it. But now it's going to cost the company money. She's going to get scolded, blah, 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 blah. There's penalties she's going to have to pay. I didn't do it. Yeah, it's like a lot of things that I've experienced that I'm pretty sure a lot of men have experienced with women in the workforce and in relationships. This is a countrywide issue that we're talking about. It's not just me. We're talking about men literally saying, do not date westernized women. Mm-hmm. And
where do you think the lack of integrity comes from? Because I feel like that's a common theme in all of the stories, is that these people have a personal lack of ethics and morality and integrity. And that's where it stems from. Like, I don't know where did they lose that in the line of them becoming the people they are today?
I think it's your. I think
that's it all starts with self-respect. It really everything. Okay, look, you probably haven't heard this before, guys, but everything where I see it starts with self-respect, and that comes from your inner faith. Like, you got to believe in yourself before anything else, right? And then when you have that inner faith, then your self-respect, your self-confidence, your self-esteem, your self-worth, all these little pillars of yourself start to light up, right? But when you're lacking that belief in yourself, you're questioning yourself, you those little lights start to dim, right? So you start to have less and less and less of that. And so I think that the integrity and all that self-respect thing, it comes from self-respect. Like, you got to start with self-respect first. If you don't respect yourself, you're not going to respect others. You don't tell the truth to yourself, you won't tell the truth to others. See, it all comes from where you're at as an individual. Now, where you're broken, where you're hurt, where there's something that happened along the way that you haven't gotten fixed yet, or gotten worked out for yourself yet, that may be lowering your inner faith, your belief in yourself, the belief that no matter what's happening, right or wrong, good or bad, right now it's happening for the best reason and for the best outcome eventually. To have that kind of faith to get up every day and go face the world, right? With your self-respect, with your self-esteem, then you're treating other people better, right? If you're waking up every day and you don't believe and you question it all those other parts of your aspects, it's going to bleed out into the way you treat other people. So when you say low integrity, right? There's a lot of low integrity going around. I'll tell you that, because people have learned how to lie to everybody around them and deceive them and play these games with juxtaposition and soundbite and rumor mills and enablers that are everywhere, helping enable their bad behavior. And people put up with people's bad behavior for their own personal gains. All the time. I see it all the time. People say, "Oh, well, I don't care what they've done. Yeah, that sounds pretty bad, but if it can help me, I'll help them," right? And it's that how dog eat dog world. I don't know, but it sure does add to the problem we have in society. And I think that it spills right back down to the main point of like how it affects the family and relationships, because relationships get affected, the families get affected, right?
Well, shoot, if I lose my job and I can't take care of my children anymore, you daggone right it's going to affect my family. It's going to make it harder for me to keep my wife happy and support it and feel like she made the right choice, because now I'm challenged financially because of this. So there's so many issues when it comes down to this lack of integrity, and what LaToya is saying right now. And she knows, when someone is allowed to consistently get away with things instead of being held accountable, they carry that into every area of their life. And that's right. They get away with it so much. When you have a woman that lies about some guy stealing her car, right? And stealing her car with her kids in the freaking backseat. That actually happened, right? That actually happened. You have women. We were talking about this earlier, Winning. You have women that have called the police and pretended that she was in danger with another man. The man's sitting there recording this, saying, "I can't believe she's doing this." Now he has to stay there, because if he leaves and she gives this bogus freaking thing that he did, there's a possibility that he gets roughed up by these police officers. So he's sitting there recording. I can only imagine how fearful he was that cops are going to come down. He has to pray to God that these cops are not racist, that these cops are not amped up, right? And she's sitting here like, "Oh my God, I don't know what to do." And she's doing this on the phone with the cops. Like, what?
Yeah, they know. They're gaming the system. And I think they have a good segue into that too, is that they're gaming the system, right? So that they know how to work it, because it's all set up to kind of benefit the I guess the benefit of the doubt, I guess, and that's where this Me Too thing came from. Believe all women.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And now here's another point I want to make too. I think this is kind of an underlying thing about how we raise our daughters. Right. And I noticed in my generation and beyond now up until today, you can see it in the videos and everything, how women are out there fighting and hitting anybody they want to. Right. Well, men are starting to hit back. And the thing is, it's like, we're not the women were raised, a whole generations of women were raised to believe that men aren't allowed to hit women. Now that's all it says, right? Not that a gentleman should never strike a lady, and a lady should never strike anyone. But that's the real deal right there, right? Because a brute's going to do it no matter what you say, right? But a gentleman should never have to bring himself to that place and never should strike a lady, someone weaker than them, right? Or anybody weaker than them for that matter. And then, but we never teach the women to be ladies about that. They have no reason to smack that man unless they're being attacked. And now they use it as an offensive weapon, knowing, oh yeah, go ahead and try something. All these dudes in here are going to jump in and kick your ass.
Oh God, do they?
Well, think about when you can push someone around like that. You have that much power over them. That these women who buy into this philosophy that they're allowed to hit men, they walk around looking at every man like that. Like every man, they can just, oh, you're nothing, you're nothing, you're nothing. And you got a whole generations of women looking at men like that. The respect level goes down. Now they're just useful idiots. They're useful pieces of meat or whatever, right? They're here to help carry shit, give a little bit of pleasure, provide that money, and get the fuck out of the way. And it's like, we're back to the generational warfare and the generational abuse, that the cycle of abuse that goes on. Like that women should be raised better than that, right? They should be raised with class, and that's where the true female power comes in, right? Is a woman who knows herself, who has class, who can carry herself well, and doesn't need to resort to tactics or using bending the law that's there to protect them to hurt other people, to be sinister, to be evil.
My God, that's
and it comes with the fact that they just view men as lesser than them, or like easily pushed around, or I can just beat his ass anytime, right?
Well, they do think that they can get someone to beat their behind because they know they can, right?
Well, the ones that go out there swinging, and the little girls go out there swinging at the dudes, right? Right, and they're doing that with that thought already in their minds. They think that they can now be the man and hit a man. And in reality, they know that man hits back, they're done. But they're using the law, they're using the juxtaposition, and they're using everybody else around them at the same time.
What do you think about that, Katelyn?
So I think one of the biggest things that stands out to me is maybe the difference in when you're talking about a girl versus a woman. Like, at what point do you grow up and realize that you are supposed to act like an adult? And that just means you can't go ahead and hit anybody you want. As much as I wanted to hit that lady in the face, I knew it was not appropriate because I'm an adult and that's not how I solve my problems. So I could have, escalated to that, but I didn't. I can't fathom at right now in my situation ever wanting to swing at my husband for any reason. I just don't see that. But when I was younger and I was in a very tumultuous relationship, my first serious boyfriend, he got aggressive with me. I wanted to hit back, but I knew that I couldn't. And I left. The one time he got aggressive, I left. It was over after that. So it didn't matter. It was done. But I couldn't imagine putting myself in that situation. I've seen women do it. I do know that women can do it. Amber Heard is a great example. She wanted to do whatever she wanted to do, and she did it. She abused the hell out of Johnny Depp. And we all saw what that ended up being. It came to light. And if that can be a story that helps other people bring their situations to light, that is a very important factor.
That changed the world.
I do think there's a big difference in little girls swinging and women being able to handle their shit appropriately.
Let me ask you a question, Katelyn. Now you showed restraint and you knew to get out of there when shit went down. You've never gone on the offense or anything like that for any particular reason. So now let's walk that back to your upbringing as much as you want to share. But where can you trace that grace back to? Like, can you pinpoint it? Have you thought about it long enough to pinpoint it? Maybe, but I might be putting you on the spot. But yeah, that's a lot to think about. But at the same time,
no.
Can you?
To be honest, the way I was raised was
classy?
And I'll be honest, I have had to learn. The way I was raised was not throwing hands, but it was screaming and shouting. My family was a yelling match family. My parents would yell at each other every single day till their voices went hoarse. I never saw either of them take a swing, but they were very verbally abusive to each other at certain points in time. And I grew up learning that if I wanted to get my point across, I had to be the loudest person in the room. I have since learned that that is not how you get your point across, and being a person and talking appropriately is the way you solve problems. I still struggle with that, but it's absolutely part of the way I was raised. Screaming was the way you won your arguments.
Now oh boy, that screaming thing. Oh my gosh. I came from the same type of background where my dad and mom, they will argue and argue, but my father will make it look like he was playing with her. That's the weird part, but I digress. But I did experience that arguing thing a lot. So my wife and I, we did a lot of arguing, like a lot of screaming, and we seen it as well when we was children, right? So point goes to what is it? When you got something in common, common ground. Points on common ground on that one, because wow. Okay, so all right, cool. So let me ask you this question: do you think there is a huge progression to make women masculine?
Yes, obviously. The feminism movement, the Me Too movement, it wasn't just to be better women as much as they wanted it to be that. It was to put women in front of men and to become the more dominant gender. Plain and simple, that's what the feminine movement was about. And I mean, obviously, I don't agree with it at all. But they have pushed women to, I don't know. I have noticed that there's two different pushes in like the makeup category. You can either push women to go very makeup forward. You have all of the stuff that you want to get, all of the big top brands that make you look up as dolled up as you want, or you go very natural and then you don't look like a girl anymore.
Yeah, but I prefer natural though.
I do too.
And here's why I prefer the natural, because all that stuff that it's not necessary, right? It feels more of a manipulation now, right? Because you're just trying to put all these filters and stuff like that on, but then you become this aggressive person when you got it on. So now when I see a lot of women, that the prettier you look, the more put together you are, the more polished you look, the more I avoid you, because I just look at you as a masculine frame. I don't even respect you, but I don't look at you as feminine at all. And because of the feminist movie came out, I got a big problem with that. What do you feel about makeup and how women use makeup today?
Women like Courtney Clenny. I don't know if you know who that is.
I don't. Can we pull her up?
She was an OnlyFans model, and you can look at the difference between her pictures and videos and what she looks like now that she's sitting behind bars. Not able to have access to her makeup.
I'll get something up.
Okay.
So I agree with you. It's a complete manipulation tactic. They are teaching, and it's, oh my gosh, it's gotten younger and younger. I can look at pictures of me when I was like 13, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that little girl didn't wear a speck of makeup. She looked so dorky. And I look at 13-year-olds now who look like they're dang near 18, 20 years old, but have no business looking like that. And so it's not only, interrupting the adults and what they're supposed to look like in, catfish age, is becoming more makeup oriented. You don't even have to have a filter anymore to completely change your face. But it's also ruining the younger generations and making them far more sexualized at a very younger rate than ever before.
Where we at, Winnie? Got it?
I'm getting it up. Oh yeah, I'm getting it. Yeah, I found it. I was trying to figure out how we're gonna look at this. All right. Let's do like this.
We're gonna go right back to the masculinity part. We can't pass this because you brought up an amazing topic when it comes down to this makeup stuff. This is a huge problem in a man. It's a huge problem.
Do you know this story?
No. Oh, the woman that stabbed her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yes.
The elevator.
She was real cute before she got put into jail.
Yeah.
Wow. Just pull the one with the one where you got the hat on. Pull that one up.
This one?
No, the one when the comparison. Side by side, that one. All right, blow that up.
Oh wait, I gotta change screens now. I get this right.
But that's a great image of why makeup is destroying life.
Now it's being stupid. Let me just do it this way.
All this can be cut out. Sorry, folks, for the delay. We are not prepared for these type of things when it comes down to the write up to things, but all of this is going to be cut out anyway. So enjoy yourselves. But yeah, makeup is an issue. It is a big issue, and I'm trying to find, and I've been doing this for a while. I'm looking for female content creators that can shed some light on this side as a woman and how you see it, because obviously they're not listening to men. Okay. And when a man comes up and try to share his experiences, like I did today, many times we get shunned for it. Oh, it's something you did, right? You know what I'm saying? Well, you should have just agreed. You know what I mean? Like, well, why couldn't you just help her that time? You know what I'm saying? Because we know that one help turns into many helps, right? If I do it the first time, it's going to keep. I'm not going to get the option. You're going to keep coming back to me. How do I know? Through experience. Okay. And we go into the next job saying, I will not allow someone to utilize my services this more, because it's not utilizing, it's punking me. Right. You know, I can't stand when a woman say, oh, you're so strong. I can't stand it, because I've heard it so many times when I was younger. Oh, look at you, so strong, while I'm taking stuff to the dumpster. I can't stand it.
Absolutely.
Oh man, we bringing up the whole thing.
Yeah, I got this is a confrontation. I don't know which one you want to see. I'm gonna get that picture up for you. I just wanted to have something if you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's I didn't put any sound on it. It's gonna play in the background.
No,
you're just looking for pictures. There you go.
There we go.
And then
go
there's that.
Court right there.
That's her. That's her.
Yep. That's her.
Yep.
That's her without contour. That is her without her highlights. That is her without her extensions in. That is her without eyelashes on. That is her without lipstick. That is her without foundation. That is her without her expensive face washes that use that to get all that acne out. That's her on a prison diet right there. That is the difference between makeup and no makeup, because that's real. That is what she really looks like.
Yep.
But so many people were paying for what she pretended to look like because of makeup. And tell me there's not something wrong with that.
Sorry.
That's a completely different chick.
There you go.
That's a completely different chick. That's a completely different chick.
Bait and switch. Bait and switch. Even there, it's a little bit better.
Yeah, but she just looked like she's
still
been
got
crying.
Her makeup on.
Right, she just looked like she's been crying there. Wow, she has no eyelashes at all.
That's because every time you put extensions into your eyelashes, you rip all the other eyelashes out. They fall out and then you lose all your eyelashes. Look, she doesn't have eyebrows either because she pencils them in. And I respect the heck out of women who can do some pretty cool things with makeup. I just think when you're using it for intentionally wrong things, I don't appreciate it. I mean,
yeah, roping the guys like this in. You know, dang.
I mean, the deception is amazing. Like, there's you can't call that anything other than deception, right? Like,
it's a straight up lie.
Yeah. All right, King. Talk to you later, buddy.
Thanks, King. Hey, man, stop by.
Holy
yeah, and everybody
cow.
stop by. Where are you at? Stop by and help each channel with likes and subscribes.
That's what's up. Awesome. That's what's up.
Yep. All right. Well, there you go. Let's get this down.
Yeah. Like, moving right along. Yeah, black magic is what it's called. Moving right along. So back to the masculinity part. Now, this is another account of crazy, right? Now, this person actually lost his life. Okay.
This is like B-grade Amber right here. I mean, Amber would have killed Johnny if she could have. Trust me.
If it had gone any further, absolutely. I mean, I'm 100% sure that she would have Courtney loved him.
Absolutely.
Kurt Cobain. Oh, I don't believe that. I don't believe that Kurt Cobain did it himself.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't believe that Kurt checked out.
So you think he was actually?
And if he did, she drove him to it. It is 100% her fault. She absolutely Amber Hearded him before Amber Heard was a thing.
Wow.
There are documents and pages and witnesses of people who saw the abuse. Mentally, she was draining him of everything that he had. He wanted to quit music.
Oh. Well,
they stumbled on that gig.
We actually have a guy by the name of Donovan Sharp that's in the Red Pill community. And he shares his experience on how he was a simp for a Pretty Little Thing. And I don't know if we should play it, but the story is just insane. The man, this is a man who other men look up to because of how he lives his life today. And this man was taken to the ringer by a woman that he was so in love with, like just in love with this girl. It's dangerous for us to let y'all in.
Yeah, I mean,
Like it really
even
is.
with the most experience, it happened. If like I keep telling guys this too, I don't care how much you think you know, right? And how many I had great relationships all the way up until the last one. You know, I thought I
do
was
you guys
pretty much
have
had it.
Do you have a Discord? Put the Discord in there real quick.
Okay.
Susan, another super chat.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Susan. Appreciate the super chat. $5 from Susan. Thank you so much.
Now, I do want everyone to understand that this is just the man's side tonight. We are going to do the woman's side, right? We're definitely going to get because we're cleaning this up. Right? We're cleaning all this stuff up. We're getting it out in the open. We're talking about it. The mainstream media don't want to talk about it. No problem. We'll talk about it because it's affecting our children. I'm doing this so my kids won't have to deal with an Amber Heard.
Yep, exactly.
That's why I'm here. I'm not here for any other reason but to make sure my children have a better life. Because I remember when my wife and me, we was in New Jersey. I said, who are we raising our children for? Another super chat from Susan.
Oh, thank you, Susan. Awesome. Susan's taking the content. Thank you for all the great work you're doing too. Absolutely.
So my thing is that I feel a lot better. Thank you. Thank God I do. I feel a lot better. Yeah, this could be done. It could be done. I mean, I've avoided this conversation for years because I've had so many other experiences that just wind up naughty, right? Because Katelyn, when I say I've let women in, I've let women in. I've tried this multiple times. And it gets to a point where my question is maybe my tactics are wrong because I'll treat women like my little sister. And it gets somewhere along the lines, it gets to a point where she thinks she has more say so than she does, right? Or more leeway than she should. And by the time I realize it's too late. She's already invested emotionally, right? Because we've had many conversations on the phone. This is why I don't think I'll ever have another real conversation for as long as I can muster when it comes down to that, because I've had too many blow-ups. And it could be possibly me, right? It could be my approach can be wrong because I'm just who I am. I'm who I am with everybody. If we ever talked offline, you'll see like, Dad, you're a clown. I'm like, yeah, I know. You know what I'm saying? I'm just who I am when it comes down to that. But I've had so many bad run-ins. And here's the thing, even though, and this is going to go to the point that winning said, even though I'm very experienced, I still make the mistake and run into that problem. Right? I'm very experienced with this. I've talked to many women to try to get through this. Okay. I used to work with women a long 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years worth of working with women. Telling you, I've had this conversation with many, many, many women. I don't think you understand what I'm saying, Katelyn. I've had it so many times that now that when I have it, I'm terrified of having it because all I need to hear is the wrong signal. Oh, it's over. It's, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, I created a channel. Listen to me, Katelyn. I created a channel to talk to women, right? But I do it in such an adverse way because I'm talking at women through men because I want them to say what I want to say, but I'm too afraid to say it now, right? Because women control the internet too. If a woman wants to shut me down, she can. Look at these split.
Yeah.
So it's like all these goalies that we're dealing with. When it comes down to Gary, women are not all sugar and spice and everything nice. Many are pure evil. Yes, but I got hope, Katelyn. I got hope, Susan. I got hope that the vast majority of women are just too busy taking care of home to worry about this. That's what I'm trusting. All right, because I got a woman. She's a gorgeous person. He was a little broken too, you know what I'm saying? We had to, fix each other, but we've beautiful woman, gorgeous woman. So I know they're out there. And then when I sit here and I'm saying you can't have a conversation with your woman, then you picked the wrong woman, right? But it seems to me I can't pick the right woman either. Because for some strange reason, every time I had this conversation, Katelyn, with a woman that is either single or divorced or whatever, there's something really, really wrong with her. And I'm drawn to it. It seems like I'm drawn to that energy.
Don't try to fix them. You can't fix them all.
I know. That's the problem. We can't fix them.
What we have to do, we've got to focus on the women who are at home or even at work, but still come home and are raising their children and their little girls. Because, like, I have a daughter, and I am trying to raise her to the best of my ability to be a polite human and a decent human, because that's what we all just need to strive to be, as decent human beings with morality, integrity, ethics, all of these things we've talked about tonight. So part of my job is to help nourish this next generation coming up. And I fear that not enough younger people in our society who are having kids that have kids, that are growing up right now are pushing them in the right direction, because all I see on the social media is the wrong direction. So I have to hope, like you, that the people who are not on social media are the vast majority of people who are actually getting it together and taking care of their kids at home.
Well, I believe in prevention, man. I believe in prevention. Big, like getting in there early and prevention is the key, man. So, if we don't have as many people that need fixing, right? They have more healthy people out there and the dating pool and for the future of society, right? So prevention, where does the abuse start? When does these conditions start? Is it all natural? Like you said, a lot of times you talk to these women, they already have issues. They already have something that's happened to them. And there's a lot more of that going on these days. And in this time, I should say, but more than these days, this time in world history. And the problem is that we're allowing the youngest generation, the children, to endure that abuse up front, right? Whether it be what's going on in the schools right now, or like the mindset and the social engineering in society and other issues we need to talk about, but that hits the children first. So then the child grows up with problems. Now, if the child's had a really bad problem throughout, right, they may be denied their childhood. Now, there's nothing out there in society, or no adult out there in society right now that is suffering more than the ones that had their childhoods taken away from them. They are generally the most disturbed people that are out there. They have the most deep-seated issues, and that's not to put a knock on them. This is empathy right here. It's like, we need to prevent that kind of stuff from happening up front by, we spend so much time worrying about a child's identity when we don't need to. What if we worried more about, teaching them about narcissism, teaching them about this disease that's out there?
Exactly what we're doing. Listen, we're talking about all this stuff, right? We're not just talking about, listen, every person has taken up their cross, so to speak, right? You've taken up your cross, Winning. Katelyn, she's taking up her cross. I'm taking up mine. There are people talking about this narcissism stuff all the time. TikTok, a lot of people call TikTok a cesspool, man, but there's a whole bunch of good conversations happening on TikTok as well. You can't just ignore the good stuff that TikTok has brought, right? So there's plenty of conversations that's being had that that's targeting this root problem, which is no moral code. It all stems to not respecting yourself, man. You don't respect yourself, and it all starts when you're a child, right? It starts right then. So you grow up, whether you grow up being a narcissist because that's what you experienced in your life with your mother or your father, or whether you have been groomed, right? That grooming stuff happens tremendously. It's disgusting. But we are more and more children are being groomed, so they grow up learning how to groom people because that's what they think they're supposed to do. When I become an adult, I'll be the groomer. That's how their mindset works.
Groom kids.
Right. So it's like once that happens and you're stuck in that mentality, you're stuck in that mind frame, breaking you out of that is close to impossible. Think about it. I had to break generational curses when it came down to how I talk to women. Here's another generational curse that I'm breaking: cursing. How often did I curse on this video? It has nothing to do with you, Katelyn, because I'll curse like a seller. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to quit cursing. Right? So I'm trying to level up my life too, because I don't want my kids cursing like me. Dad cursed like a seller. I can break that curse with here. I done broke so many other curses. Why not this one? Right?
There you go.
But it has to be ended somewhere, right? I believe that you're ending the whole argument thing, Katelyn, with your women, with your daughters. This is not how we talk to our husbands. This is not how we solve problems. This is not how we talk to our women, right? This is how we solve problems. This is what this is all about. It's about solving problems. And a lot of people have a very difficult time, especially when we start talking about the race issue, because that's going to come in another video eventually. Hopefully you'll be willing to come on. But the race issue, we're not going to get past the trauma unless you're willing to listen. And there is no rebuttal on this. You can't rebuttal my experience. How are you going to rebuttal? Yeah, but we all do it. So what? I'm just telling you what I'm experiencing, right? You know, the aftermath of all of this, right? The aftermath of feminism is what men are experiencing now. And I want to, and I've said this back when in the Me Too time, I said that this Me Too issue is going to affect your daughters tremendously.
Oh yeah.
It's going to really affect your daughters in one way or the other. Either you're going to find yourself never being able to get another mentor for the rest. You just can't find a mentor. No man will touch you, or you will only work with women. That's what I said. Look at what's happening. Men are walking completely away from westernized women. It's not going to hit women until the resources dry up. Because right now, there's still plenty of resources to go around. We're still running off of reserve. God, if we don't catch this soon, a whole lot of women are going to experience some real bad times because they're not going to know how to get their stuff. The supermarket is going to be bare. That's the only place you know how to get stuff from. So many people, so many Americans don't realize, I couldn't survive without trucks. And all the food that's on these all the foods that the only real food in the supermarket is the produce section and the butcher. The rest of that is crap. None of it's real. It's all fake food. Crackers, that's fake food.
We have growing trees.
Yeah, they do. They trees, right? Yeah, that's a daggone shame. I eat trees all day.
Yeah. What's up? Dude, Mike Griffin's tracking me up here, man. I feel like he's the guy who married Thelma Evans.
I'll stop cussing when my wife stopped cooking. Listen, Mike is awesome. Mike is one of these guys.
I love it,
when his wife
my wife's cooking
day long. He comes in here with. I think he literally goes and Googles these things. All right, I need 10 more today.
So good.
You know, and he's so amazing with it.
My wife's cooking. My wife's cooking. My wife's cooking. Dude. I can't.
God bless you, man.
It reminds me of JJ, man. It's about always talk about Thelma's cooking.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm done. I'm complete. I'm complete.
Well, man, that
let's see if we can get 5 more seconds of awkward silence. Let's go.
All right.
I'm actually listening to music, by the way, so it's never really an awkward moment for me, but continue.
You gotta tell us what the song is now.
No, well, I'm listening to smooth jazz.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
we gotta talk some. We'll talk some music sometime, man.
We'll definitely do some music.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What do you think, man? You had a whole stream here tonight, hanging. A little less fearful. We gotta get to the conclusion. We had the big Dr. Phil moment.
I didn't get to say half the stuff that I was planning on saying.
That means you gotta come back, Katelyn. You gotta come back.
It ran out of my brain. Like, I talked my wife ear off for almost 3 hours yesterday about this. Right? Because I even told Winning I was considering canceling this. Like, this is
Katelyn is pretty intimidating.
Huh?
Katelyn is pretty intimidating.
She is. She very much is. To me, she is. That's the thing. Like, Winning, you don't get it. To me, she is. Right? Like,
I have a teddy bear in my background.
Amber Heard had pink slippers on.
Yeah, it might have a knife underneath the head. Or you just pull the head off, there's a knife.
Right. It could be that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't fooling me with those daisies. No, you're not fooling with me. I'm taking a shoe. But Live Freedom, what's up, man? Gary, I believe we need to raise our boys to be great men and our girls to be good women. Yes, we do need to raise our boys to be great men. I think we are doing that. I really do think we are. I think good men outweigh bad men by a lot. Has to, because our prisons stay full.
Mm-hmm.
So there's enough men out here doing the right thing. Because our street women still could run around half naked with earphones on and know nothing's going to touch them. But that's a good thing. That's actually a good thing. We still got a decent society. We're not going to let nothing happen to our women. Like, that's not happening. But what I'm saying is, I don't want women to be left alone. I'm not really afraid of violence towards women. That's not what I'm fearful of. I'm fearful of women dying alone. That is not the reason. God did not design it to be that way. I'm sorry. This biological urge we have is too powerful for anybody to die alone. Too powerful. It doesn't make sense for you to want to be independent alone. Don't make sense. So that's what I'm concerned about. Because I'm going to be fine. I got a wife, right? I'll be fine. I'll get through that trauma, right? But if you really had a better purpose for your life, but you ran into the whole systematical thing, you got sucked up into feminism, and you got convinced, because groupthink is very powerful over women, very powerful. Okay, there's a clip of Pearly Things talking about this man who's experienced his wife almost pretty much joining a cult, right? And hell, I think, let me see if I can find a clip for you. I'll let you see it. I won't talk about it. I'm just show it to you. Take over, Winning, while I get this.
Right. So, is that the title? Winning. I mean, woman disappears into a weirdo Discord cult. That's something that you hear about today. So okay, in terms of coming up, in terms of like kind of like bridging the gap here, right? $5 from Suzanne. Thank you, Suzanne. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
I think there's a lot more conversation to be had, definitely. We should talk about this probably afterwards, but yeah, we could kind of do this one a couple times, I think.
Yeah,
You know?
this is
there's so much more to say.
as long as she wants to. Yeah, this is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more than happy to come back.
Yeah,
I just threw that link in the back for you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, I mean, I guess I could have commented on the gravity of the depth herd thing, but let me just go ahead and pull this up. Oh wow, that's you. Hold on. How old is this? Oh, it's from a month ago. All right.
Yeah.
I did a terrible job filling in right there.
No, you didn't. We'll get better, dude. Right. This is the first time we've ever done something
take a
like
solo,
this.
And I was like, hold on, man. I was trying to tune at the time. I was in the middle of tuning. I gotta play it on one string. Here we go. All right.
Do you think she was convinced these were true?
Yeah, I think she tricked herself into thinking they were true. After a while, she started believing her own lies. There's no doubt. I think she does to this day, that she had constructed this fantasy world where I was some sort of, she was meeting these kind of women's aid charities, these group meetings in the local town. That was known. Other mothers in the area were actually part of this group.
Because I was thinking, could I go to a women's aid place? Like, can anyone just go to one?
Any woman can, yeah, yes.
I'm just curious what they would, if like I said, oh, someone abused me.
They're not going to question you. They're not going to assume you're lying. They're going to assume you're telling the truth. They're then typically going to give you advice. They're going to tell you what to say and how to present. And it's going to be a game of top trumps, right? You all sat there in your circle. My ex did that. No, my ex did something worse. No, my ex did something worse. And it just becomes this kind of echo chamber. That everything gets more and more extreme, more and more hysterical.
Okay, so you found out that your son's best friend was murdered.
Yeah, well, I thought it was actually my son murdered at the time. So I phoned my ex-wife. I sent text messages. She refused to answer. Even then, even at that point, she just didn't want to engage at all. And it was well into the next. I phoned the police and asked, "Is this my son?" Fortunately, it sounds dreadful to say that now, but the relief was it wasn't him. I only really heard anything from my ex-wife well into the next day. Well, why can't you just let it go? Something truly terrible has happened. It transpired that my ex-wife was very close friends with Leslie Speed, and that her and my son and Leslie and Archie would frequently go out playing, and they'd been out the day before. So I believe my ex-wife was the last person to see Archie alive. And clearly within this group, and I later found out from Matthew Spriggs that, I don't speak for Matthew Spriggs, by the way, the father of Archie, but he'd experienced much the same as I had, that there were groups of women hurling abuse at him, unnecessary abuse, really vile, mobile phones out, taking photographs, films of him picking the son up, dropping the son back, shouting and swearing at him, with the children and my son included. So this is my ex amongst this group of women hurling abuse at him. This is days before Leslie Speed did what she did. So she smothered and strangled him. And it transpires, it seems that there were two reasons really that it was a way to prevent Archie ever being looked after by Matthew, and it was also an act of revenge against Matthew. And the similarities of the kind of allegations she was making against him mirrored almost exactly the allegations my ex was making against me. These are two women, maybe a third with Emily S., saying and doing the same things and following a very similar
pattern.
Very similar pattern. And before this, the point is, before this murder, I'd picked up on this, and I'd warned CAFCAS, at the local authority. Social services were not involved at this point, I should add, but I had stated very clearly that I was very concerned by this group of women, that their behavior was becoming kind of a group hysteria, and that something needs to be done. So some of them needed to look into this behavior because it's spiraling out of control. And my fear was something would snap, something was going to happen. I had no idea it was going to be that serious or anything like that. And I'm certainly not accusing my ex-wife of any culpability in this. She's not responsible. We know who's responsible. But this kind of groupthink amongst this group of women, it's a dangerous thing. It can have real consequences. And it can have the most terrible consequences. And perhaps rather than encouraging women like Leslie Speed, who had known kind of homicidal tendencies, probably not known to my ex-wife, admittedly, but surely it is better to try to diffuse these situations. It's better to say, look, Leslie, let's just calm down. Let's try and do the best we can for our children. Let's not throw these wild allegations around. Mm-hmm. But by hyping everything up, by making everything more and more extreme, then some people will snap. And she certainly did.
Why did she strangle her son?
You can watch the rest of the video by clicking the link in the description or the comment section. Now, this father has not seen his kid in, I can't remember, for quite some time. I'll say that, quite some time. They lost their children. Their children are in child custody services now, or child rather. So basically, this mother, his ex-wife, accused him of some, which caused him to lose custody of his child, and he's been fighting to get custody of his child, and he's ready to give, losing his son's best friend murdered by his mother. And the father believes that the reason why the child was murdered was to make sure that the child didn't get back to his father. This group think, and you can go watch the whole thing because it's an intense conversation. It's intense. I mean, the reason why it's a big story that Pearl is putting together. I'm not risking that. Period. It started out fine. Everything was cool. The freaking relationship was great. And all of a sudden, one day she gets a part of some guy. She makes friends with some girl. Next thing you know, she's acting different. Keep in mind, she was perfectly she would look at women that did these kind of things, just like you're saying. This is crazy. I don't know why women would do these things. She was saying the same exact thing. Next thing you know, he hasn't had sex with his wife for over a year. Doesn't understand why she won't. He's losing his patience. He makes a mistake. He cheats on his wife. And this was how she repaid him. Taking his child. And now he's trying to find his child. You don't know where I get no. They know where he is. Excuse me. They know where he is. They can't contact him. Boy's grandmother can't even contact him. And what did the grandmother do? These accusations are against the father, not the grandmother. But the grandmother cannot get access to her grandchild, who she's attached to, obviously, because she, you know what I'm saying? So these things happen, man, way too often.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you know anything about the Manson cases with Marilyn Manson, but he was basically accused by a group think. They actually went into meetings with itemized checklists and said, did this happen to you? Did this happen to you? Did this happen to you? All of their stories ended up becoming so similar that they finally have been starting to figure out that there are false allegations. And
wow.
Manson is fighting these in court, and it's ruined his career. I mean, he was supposed to have an album come out, I think, this month, and they just canceled it because he's still fighting these allegations, even though they are so blatantly created by one person giving the information of what she deemed the story was appropriate to be to all the other people, who then came out of the woodwork and was like, me too.
Do you have anything to say about that? Wow.
Yeah, it's another example of how it's a rampant issue that's happening in the system, or not necessarily in the system, but in our communities and our cultures. It's not, it's on every level.
I think I think the group think thing, the cult mindset transcends individual gender groups too, right? I think that and we've seen it a lot that group think and small communities can get out of hand, and a lot of times there are some very disturbed people pulling the strings there, and there's a lot of enablement. Like the enablement for these things is the thing I like to talk about, in that we can't continue to enable bad behavior in any way, shape, or form, even if you think it benefits you, because it just keeps going. It becomes a cycle, right? And group think can happen in a lot of different scenarios. In terms of what women are doing, group think wise, we see the Me Too movement. It turned into a safe harbor for abusive, for women who are abusive to men. And what did that do? That hurts every woman that's actually being abused by a man, right? It turns around and hurts them
tremendously.
They don't care.
It has the adverse effect, which brings me right back to what Katelyn said earlier. Too many women are out for self. Whatever pushes their agenda, they don't care. The Jezebel spirit is too strong in our country.
And I think we're right back to the root on that too, I think we're right back to the root on that when we talk about it. Comes down to how children are raised and how families are kept together, and why that's important. It's not always going to be perfect in every scenario. If you just say, hey, the answer is everybody has a family and you stay in your family and that's it. But things are going to get a hell of a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to rebalance it. Right now, I feel like the world's out of balance in a major way. I feel like the darkness is towering over the light, and we got to push back and pull that light up and make it a more even playing field, even taking the advantage. The light needs to be the one that's leading the way, not the darkness. And right now, we excuse too much darkness. When people talk about voting for the lesser two evils, and they talk about all these compromises they make, don't make any compromises. Like this is the time now. And the solution mindset is not to compromise, but to resolve the issue.
Yeah,
that's the difference. That's what solution culture is about. It's about not continuing these cycles. It's about stepping in with real root cause solutions, like we're trying to do here with this show, and like we're doing here with this show, right, Yeri?
Yeah, we're doing this. We're doing it. We're doing it right now. We're not trying to do anything. We're talking, right? We're about to wrap it up, but we've been talking for 2 hours and 45 minutes. We're about to we about to wrap it up. Definitely gonna wrap it up. All right. We went 15 minutes further than I wanted to do tonight because the conversation was so good. But you know, I kind of want to go a little more because you're touching on stuff that makes me even want to go. But we're gonna have to probably get that to another live when we discuss this, because I do want to see how can we prevent this groupthink from spreading to my wife, Katelyn, Susan, to all the other women, right? Not saying that you're weak-minded. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it that I don't want to risk it. That's why I want to have these conversations. I don't want to risk it. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like that sounds way too weird for me. I don't want no parts of that. You know what I mean? I don't want anything to do with it. That's why I had to stop, with all due respect to MGTOW. Love you men to death. You guys went cuckoo. You just went cuckoo. Y'all, I was the red pill movement. Y'all went cuckoo. We was great in the beginning. Like, hey, this is great. Oh, yeah, you know, it was fun. Next thing you know, y'all was saying some ridiculous stuff. I'm like, can't get with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are certain things that I can't even get with because it's way too, you know, it gets to a point where and this is why I don't want to give groups names, right? It seems like it happens on both sides, right? That group think stuff, it really does take hold. You literally start talking to people offline using online words. That's how crazy it gets. Oh, the next show I would like to talk about that, maybe. Like,
yeah, man.
Make sure we don't find a way, like bring up some how, because we've been exposing the narcissistic spirit, right? Narcissistic spirit. We've been exposing that every day. We've beaten men who beat women to death, right? We've been all over that. Okay, there is no man out here that's saying it's okay to do those things. So now we're going after the crazy women who are doing these hurtful things to men. They've been taking men, kids away from. This man is just one of many men who've experienced this, where it got to a point where the woman was making it so difficult. I even have another video on my channel where a man had to drive 2 hours to go pick up his child, and she was making it hard for him to take the kid because she wanted to be the one to put the kid in this man's car. He didn't want her to. I don't know why. I can only speculate. Don't know why. He didn't want to just let her, because I would have just said let her put her in the car seat. But what if she planted contraband on him or something? Called the cops. That could have possibly happened. So now he don't want. This is why he's saying, I don't want you anywhere near my car. But she was trying to get him in trouble. That's why he has the camera. It's so much. This type of stuff is what men going through. It's not even funny. It's very daunting. We try to laugh about it, but it's very daunting. You're right there. You got your kid there. You're good.
No, my dogs are loud and obnoxious, and I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I don't want it to disrupt your flow at all.
We don't hear the dogs, and dogs are fine. You're fine. but we do not hear the dog.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap that one up. Some guy, Patrice O'Neal had a bit on this topic. Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the one when he found himself in prison because of false allegations? Is that the one you're talking about, some guy? Because if that's the case, that is an excellent example, and he delivers it very well. Here's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up, some guy. Some guy becomes some real guy. Get a real name. But some guy, you okay, Katelyn, go watch that video by Patrice O'Neal when he's explaining how he went to prison or jail, I should say, because of a woman falsely accusing him of rape. Okay, and how it messed up his friend, because it was him and his friend that went to jail. Listen to that, and I think that will give you a better, if you haven't gotten one already, it's going to set off an alarm, and you're going to be like, dang, Patrice O'Neal was one of the cult classic comedians of the Red Pill movement. And he ragged on women all the time, just like me, right? Because he went through traumatic experiences just like I have. So that's why I connect with this man so much. This is an excellent live. Look at how much I done leveled up 50 times since I've been on this live. This is awesome.
That's right, man. This show has deeper meaning to it than a lot of the others that are out there, man. That, it's for those people looking to think deeper and find purpose in the shows they watch and support. And that's why you guys need to come back here every week and tell everybody about the show that we're doing. We're at 2 or 3 episodes in right now. And
Thursday.
Yep, 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be here. So yeah, we're hoping to grow this up and grow this out, man. And make sure you share the likes and share the subs and all that. We'll be back here next week at 9 p.m. I'm gonna have a show on Saturday night, Winning Saturday Night. Gary's been on it. Katelyn's been on it, right? Have you been on Winning Saturday Night? I think you have, right? Maybe not. We gotta get you on there.
Can't remember.
We gotta get you on there. Oh, I got a late super chat. So proud of you, Gary.
Way to take a chance.
Yes, dude. And thank you everybody for all the love and support tonight here. We had a great night. New members, lots of super chats. Thank you for everybody who is supporting the show. It means a lot, and all that you do. Right down to everybody out there, the mods, and of course Mrs. Lamb as well. So
she's still back there listening too.
Yep, absolutely. And so
bravo.
All right. Woo. Yeah, so Saturday night I'm gonna have this lady named Radix Verum. She's a return guest. Actually, I think she might be my first return guest that's funny Saturday night. But she's a very busy woman. She's a documentary maker, and she's been following the J6 stuff that's been going on, as well as the stuff in Michigan and as well. So she's gonna be in to do an update on her documentary. Now she's working really hard on this documentary, y'all. I mean, and she's trying to help these guys get out of jail that are being falsely imprisoned over this stuff. So she's going to be with me Saturday night, 8 p.m. special start time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And she's got a GoFundMe, and we're going to try to, raise some funds for her because she's putting all her own money into this. But this documentary she's working on, and we'll get to see a little peek of it, is amazing.
Well, that sounds interesting.
And she talk about someone who's working hard. That's a mom right there too, right? Working hard. And she's in it for the cause, man. She's working on a very important cause right now. So I hope you'll join me and come check out Radix Verum this Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we'll be doing that. Gary, you Saturday nights you do the panel with Matters of Opinion, right?
Yes, at 10 o'clock Eastern. That's 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. So that's a 2-hour time frame for whatever. If you decide you want to come through, you can. This Saturday, we're discussing should men still aspire to be good men. Okay. I'm going to show a video about a father that is, very, very discouraged because he's in a tight place. He doesn't want to really be with the mother anymore, but the mother is making his life very difficult to see his children. And it's an ongoing thing. Like, this is a fight that we're going to have to keep having this on, because it's got to stop, right? We use children as weapons.
Gary, you're fading out a little bit there, Ben.
Oh, I'm sorry. We can't use children as weapons. We can't do it. We can't do it. And that's what a lot of women have done. They've used children as weapons. So we're going to put together a fundraiser on the Gary Lamb Network. Once we get everything situated with the channel, we're trying to work things out. We're putting partnerships together. And once I get everything squared away and I have something polished to bring you, I'm going to start doing a drive for men who are looking to get custody of their children. They want to fight in court, but the legal fees are too unbearable. So what we're going to do is we're going to support these men. We're not going to pay everything. That's just silly, but we can help support them. Like, all right, we can give you $1,000 towards that, $5,000 towards that. And we can all, bring the person on the panel and let them tell their story, and we can vote on how much we give them. You know what I'm saying? Make it a fun thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, whatever. But we're going to be discussing that on Saturday.
All right. And Katelyn, I know you had a vacation this week, but anything coming up?
I'm working on something behind the scenes, so
awesome.
No, but yes.
Well, let me know, man. Anytime I can be their support.
Do you do videos, or you do lives, or a mixture?
I have done 3 live streams, and I put up like one video of me coloring as like my first just get it out of the way video, just kind of like a throwaway video. So I've done one video, but I didn't edit it or anything. But I like the live streams. I'm a live stream person.
I have 3 male friends go through this and win. Congratulations to the 3 men who has won. Now, here's the thing. Men are winning all over the place. It's almost like the boat has shifted. It seems like people do care, right? There's people, you guys here care, right? Katelyn's over here melting, so we know she cares. You know what I'm saying? Like, people care, right? Just messing with you and playing with you. But the thing is that people do care. It's not what have been told these many times. Nobody cares about men. Nobody cares about men. I disagree. All right. I'm a man and I care. My wife's a woman and she cares. Winnie, you care, right? The people in the chat cares. A good 40% of my audience are women, right? They tend to care. It's just we are going about it weird, like, right? But we're going to keep this going. I just want to say thank you guys for coming through. I truly appreciate everybody. I'm gonna give winning the last say. I'm Gary Lamb. I'm out.
All right, man. Hey, and everybody, till next time, keep on winning.
Bye.
It's time to take a stand and prepare our history. Thomas Sowell has shown us the way. It's time to start winning reality. We've been divided for far too long. It's time to come together and be strong. We can learn from our mistakes and make a brighter future for everyone. We have the power to make a change. All it takes is courage and faith. for what's right and make history together.